Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. It's Friday, March 20th, 2026. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. You know, guys, it's a Friday. It's been a heavy month. It really has. It's been a heavy month in news, in politics, the war, the betrayal, just all of it. It's been a heavy month. So you know what we're doing today? On day number 20 of this month, we're going to take it easy. We're going to take it easy. We're going to cool it down. That's what we're going to do. Now, I do have a bunch of news. It's certainly not a light news day. Obviously, there's war news, some other geopolitical news, some stuff that was happening at the White House last night and today that I want to give you an update on. So we are going to do that. I think I can do that pretty quickly. I might not even need the entire first hour. My goal is to get through these news stories in the first hour. We got some AI news. We got some new polls. But, it's like what we're witnessing here is, I don't even know. I mean, we're witnessing propaganda from this White House. We're witnessing propaganda from the Trump administration that even makes the Biden White House, the Biden administration bluff. That's how outrageous it is. And the war stuff is next level. The MAGA approval ratings, next level. I mean, this stuff is next level propaganda. And I think because the consequences of it are heavier, there's bigger implications of this propaganda than the Biden propaganda. You know, they can sit there and say sharp as a tack all day long. The implications were relatively small because everybody knew it wasn't true. And ultimately, he didn't even run for president after all of that. But now we're talking about lies and propaganda about an ongoing war that is also not a war. We're talking about lies and propaganda about a presidential approval rating or a MAGA movement. And it's just outrageous levels of propaganda. And I just wonder how much longer they can hold this up. I really do. I think that Trump is kind of in this mindset that, like, he's already committed. I don't even know. He's in a completely different world now. It's just a totally different world for him. So I imagine he can do the propaganda thing forever, I guess. He's just going to sit up there and lie all day long, gaslight all day long, whatever. He's already over it. He wants to be a communist dictator. He's said that. He said that. He has said that on an open mic, and he has said that in a secret taped recording that he wishes he could be a dictator. So now I think he just kind of runs with that mindset. But then what about all the people surrounding him? What about the other members of the administration? Do you think Joe Kent is going to be the only one that steps away? Do you think there's other angst? I'm not sure I'm buying these rumors about Tulsi Gabbard. I've given you my thoughts on that. But you're hearing the buzz that Tulsi Gabbard might be next. I think she's going to stick it out. She has a deal with Trump. I think she's better off sticking it out, but we'll see. But I mean, what about the rest of them? What about Caroline Jean-Pierre? I mean, Caroline Jean-Pierre, just outrageous today. So how much longer can they keep this up? How much longer can the right-wing media keep this up? How much longer can the bought and paid for X accounts that are on the administration payroll, how much longer can they keep it up? It's wearing thin. But anyway, you know what? We're going to take a breath today, guys. I want everybody to have a good Friday. You know, I was thinking about really kicking it back, but just pop it on. We're going to take your calls. A traditional classic call-in show today. Grade President Trump. Are you still MAGA? And what do you think about the Iran war?
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
Well, hopefully you are not one of the millions of Americans that dealt with some of this crazy weather this month, and you were without power in a weird month for weather, really. You had some record cold and snow. You had some record heat. You had a bunch of people without power for days. Hopefully that wasn't you. But if it was, I hope that you did something to prepare. I hope that you had some emergency food supplies. But if not, don't worry. Our friends at My Patriot Supply, they have your back. And we have an exclusive offer for this listening audience right now. And that is at preparewithowen.com, a 4-week emergency food supply plus free 1-week ammo can. So that's 5 weeks of emergency food for the price of 4. All you got to do is scan that barcode on the screen or go to preparewithowen.com. The reason why I partnered with My Patriot Supply, it's pretty simple. It's the highest quality emergency food, highest quality storage for the best price. Simple as that. And you know, with the My Patriot Supply emergency food, you're getting at least 2,000 calories a day. Real meals made with real ingredients, no artificial flavors, no artificial colors. You know, I'm not into that. And a shelf life measured in decades. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a must-have. It's insurance you can eat. And, of course, you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. But it's convenient in those times where the power is out, bad weather, whatever the case may be, the grocery store is closed. Who knows? It could be anything. Make sure you have insurance you can eat. Make sure you have emergency food supplies. Go to preparewithowen.com or scan that barcode on the screen and take advantage of the 4-week emergency food kit plus free 1-week ammo can offer happening right now.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, guys, how we doing on a Friday? I want you to relax today. I want you to kick back today. I was even thinking about going way weird, getting really strange today. I was thinking about just like playing some 90s radio in the background. I don't know. That's what, normally I have talk radio on all day. I'm listening to political talk radio, just listening to music on the radio today. It was refreshing. It was nice. Thinking, maybe I just play that in the background, take some calls, just really kick back on a Friday. Don't we all need it, guys? Don't we all need it? There's only so much we can tolerate. There's only so much we can put up with in this crazy political world, this corrupt political world. If you sit there and obsess with it, it just drags you down into the darkness. So we're not going to do that today. I do have the news. We're not going to stop telling the truth on this show. But I think it's just time to take a deep breath. I think it's just time to relax a little bit, head into this weekend. It's beautiful weather here in Austin. Just head into this weekend with a smile, with some good vibes, because who knows? Who knows what the political world is going to offer us next week? So we will give out the phone number. My hope is I'm going to get into the news here soon. I don't have really any monologue for today. So I think we'll get right into the news. The opening stories will kind of fit into what I might say in a monologue anyway today. But I think we'll be able to do it within the first hour. That's my hope. And then the second hour, nothing but calls. And then we'll continue to take calls if the line is hot into the third hour. And then, of course, we can get to your super chats as well. That's kind of the plan for today's show, for this Friday show. But yes, we do have a bunch of news. And the reason I want to do this call-in show, and I've been talking about it for a while, this is going to be kind of a traditional call-in type show. And the three questions that I want answered when I open the phone lines, the three questions that I'm going to ask are, what grade would you give President Trump or this administration? You can take that however you want. Do you still consider yourself MAGA, or what do you think is the status of MAGA? And then what are your thoughts on the war in Iran? So it's Trump, MAGA, war in Iran. Three topics. And I just want to hear. I want to hear from the audience. And it's kind of even like a documentary style as we're sitting here watching this debate about MAGA, which kind of proves that it's at the very least fractured, if not dead, if not now died and returned from the dead and now a zombie vampire coming for us. It's just a way of putting that down, hearing from people, hearing what they think. If you like Trump, if you think it's an A+, if you like the war, whatever, we'll hear from everybody today. But obviously, we're sitting here watching this debate, and this is where we can get into the news. We'll start it off. I'm telling you guys, maybe it's the March Madness tournament. I can't help it. I'm a bit of a sucker for it. I like the first 2 days. It's basketball all day long. I may or may not have had SLU in Illinois to win and cover last night. So I'm just, you can't just sit up here and be negative with the news all the time. So we're not going to do that today. Kick back, guys. Kick back with the show. Kick back on a Friday. Pick up the phone and give us a call when we open up the lines. So Caroline Jean-Pierre is what she shall be known as from here on out. Caroline Jean-Pierre. They just keep telling you this every day. She says, as I've said repeatedly, Americans trust President Trump as their commander-in-chief and support his efforts to eliminate terrorist threats and keep us safe. There is no MAGA fracturing, no matter how many times the media tries to claim otherwise. Now, folks, we are in the pure propaganda stage of this administration. I mean, this is pure propaganda from Caroline Leavitt, from Caroline Jean-Pierre here. Pure propaganda. I mean, top notch, highest quality, top shelf, top tier. I don't even want to get into the whole terrorist threats. That stuff is so old and so tried and so obnoxious, and some people will always fall for it. Others understand what it translates to. But regardless, okay, it's the terrorist threat. All right, yep. There is no MAGA fracturing, no matter how many times the media tries to claim otherwise. What is she talking about? What media? You guys shared a CNN clip that said 100% of MAGA supports Trump, as if that's not the most obnoxious, obvious propaganda we've ever seen in our lives. There's no 100% of anything. Kim Jong-un doesn't even get 100% approval rating. Kim Jong-un doesn't even get 100% of the vote. And it's like, they didn't even check themselves in that moment. They didn't even check themselves in the 100% moment. No, they just keep doubling and tripling down. And what does this claim about the media? So what media are you talking about? What about the actual people? Or have you completely lost touch with the average American? Have you completely ignored Trump's voter base? It's not a media claim. It's happening with real people. It's happening every day. So Caroline Jean-Pierre is just pure propaganda now. I mean, just unbelievable what she's become. But I guess she has no choice at this point, and so she's just decided she's going to stick around and play this role as long as she has to. So, there is no MAGA fracture, guys. It doesn't exist. And it's the fake news media claiming that. But she doesn't, what media is she even talking about? And then she shares some Politico poll. So they trust CNN and Politico now. Whatever. Trust whoever you want. Oh, we trust a Politico poll. We trust a CNN poll because that gives us the best results now. Maybe you ought to think why that is. Maybe you ought to sit back and wonder why all of a sudden they're giving you favorable polls. And I mean, you could even argue in this that there's clearly some fracture. I mean, even in this poll, 20% of the people don't support. 20% of MAGA doesn't support the war in Iran. It's not an insignificant number, but okay, fine. So Caroline Jean-Pierre says there is no MAGA fracture. Outrageous lies. Ridiculous level. But okay, let's see. Let's see. What is the status right now of Trump's approval? Fresh off the press today. Trump's approval rating sinks to lowest ever as Americans turn on Iran war and skyrocketing gas prices. Okay. All right. So he's down into the low 40s now, and it's going negative. Consistently going negative. I would say that if Trump's approval rating is going down, where do you think he's losing approval? Where do you think he's losing support? Not from the left. That's from MAGA. That's MAGA dropping out. But okay. She then says the media. She then says the media. Well, let's look at the media. What does the media say? This is the top podcasts in the USA today. This is your top 5. Number 1, Joe Rogan. Number 2, Theo Vaughn. Number 3, Crime Junkie, a true crime podcast. I don't know anything about it. Number 4, Sean Ryan. And number 5, Tucker Carlson. So remove the true crime podcast, since that has nothing to do with politics, at least as far as I know. And let's look at the 4 other podcasts on here that we know get into political discussions. Joe Rogan, once a Trump supporter, not so much anymore. Number 1. Theo Vaughn, once a Trump supporter, not so much anymore. Number 2. Number 4, Sean Ryan, once a Trump supporter, not so much anymore. And number 5, Tucker Carlson, once a Trump supporter, not so much anymore. So let's see. The top podcasts in America that were all Trump supporters, who are now very critical of Trump, critical of the war in Iran, critical of foreign policy, critical of Israel, now they are the top podcasts in America. Now, do you think that's because people don't like what they have to say? Do you think that's because people don't resonate with the show? Of course not. They do like what they have to say. They do resonate with the show. That's why they're the top podcasts in America. You know who's about to fall out of the top 100? Dan Bongino. These are pretty simple metrics here. This is professional data. There's no rigging this. There's no fluffing this. There's no massaging this. There's no wiggle room here. There's no gray area. These are raw analytics of America's audience. Dan Bongino carries water for the administration, worked for the administration, positive on the administration. He's about to be out of the top 100. We're talking the top, potentially the top right-wing podcaster, you could say maybe in the 2020s. And he's about to fall out of the top 100 because he continues to carry water for the administration that's not popular anymore. Meanwhile, 4 of the top 5 podcasters have all gone negative on Trump and are against the current foreign policy, the war, and Israel's influence. What more do you need to see? What more do you need to know? I suppose the one other thing you could throw in here would be the demographics or the logistics of the audience. I'd say it's probably fair to assume that I don't know. It's the podcast world is pretty open for anybody, but I think you'd still see that most of these listeners are probably under 50. I think that would be a fair assumption. Maybe under 60. And then if you're 50, 60 or above, you're still kind of attached to the mainstream news, the network news. The older generations that are more accustomed to tuning into network news, they're finding different outlets. They're finding different ways on the internet and podcasts. So I mean, it's not like they're totally grounded here to network news. But I think it's a fair thing to say these are mostly younger Americans listening to these shows. These are mostly under 60, under 50. And of course, that's the future of the country. That's who is going to be here in the next 2, 3, 4 election cycles. So these are the real metrics right here. But you can even toss all that out the window. You can toss all that out the window. And this is why it's so outrageous to see the White House lying. And I said this in a short video this morning when I saw Caroline Jean-Pierre put that out. I said, we're basically looking at two options. When we read the White House press secretary telling you there is no MAGA divide and that Trump is getting 100% approval rating, I mean, that's obviously outrageous. So we have to say, well, why? Why are they saying this? And to me, there's two options. One, they just don't care that they lie to you. They just lie to you and they don't care about it. Or option number two, they're delusional. They're actually delusional. They actually believe their own propaganda. They actually believe their own bullshit. I don't really see any other options. Maybe you could argue it's kind of a mixture of the two, but I don't know. Are there any other options available as to why the White House would be posting such propaganda? I can't find it. Either they don't care that they lie to you, or they're as delusional as everybody else. I don't see any other option here. But like I said, we could have people call in today. I'm sure there's people in the audience today that still support Trump. Maybe they give Trump an A. Maybe they like the war with Iran. I know those people are out there. That's fine. That's their opinion. We have a different opinion. It's good. It's healthy. I like that. It's fun. So I'm not in denial that those people are out there. But even those people will admit, it's like, yeah, I know that I know that my opinion is not universal. I know everybody doesn't support this war. I know everybody isn't happy with Trump. It's like, the people I talk to, people that will probably call in today, I don't know, we'll see. It's like at least they can be honest and say, yeah. I mean, you see it every day. That's what's so crazy. I think that's the craziest part about this is we're sitting here, we're watching all of this play out. And look, there is a bit of a bias here because I am essentially embedded in social media culture and political content. I mean, I'm living in this matrix. So obviously my perspective here is a certain, you might be the same way to an extent, but it's like, I'm just sitting here watching this and I'm watching the same people that claim that Trump is getting 100% support from MAGA and Trump's as popular as ever. And they'll sit there and they'll make this claim. And then the next claim is how mad they are at these former MAGA people, how mad they are at all of these people that they call traitors that don't support Trump anymore. Like, what is that? How can you sit here and say, look, Trump's more popular than ever? MAGA is stronger than ever. And then your next statement is complaining about how all these people have abandoned Trump and abandoned MAGA, and you're attacking them. It's like you're the ones doing that. How can you not see the hypocrisy right there? How can you not see that you're contradicting your own mindset from one statement to the next? What is that? That is odd. That is definitely a weird thing. That's politics in 2026, huh? That's pretty amazing. So MAGA is 100% approval rating, but also I'm pissed at all of these people that left MAGA, and I'm fighting with them all day online. Okay, so MAGA isn't 100%? Of course MAGA is 100%. What are you saying, panicking? Oh, panicking? What does that mean? Well, panicking is a word we give for people that left MAGA. Oh, okay, so there is a division in MAGA. No, I didn't say that. Like, what? Okay. Well, it's only going to get worse if these oil prices keep going up. It's only going to get worse. Saudi Arabia sees a spike to $180 oil if energy shock persists past April. Now, that was from last night on the Wall Street Journal. That was from last night. Today, as of this morning, Dubai crude oil hit 170 per barrel. Dubai crude is at the highest it's ever been. Now, we'll get into some of the war news right now. And I do want to pile drive here. I think we're on good timing to stick to the planned format. I get people asking me, why aren't you talking about what's actually happening in Iran or what's actually happening in Israel or the Gulf nation states? And as I've explained before, I am very hesitant and unwilling to do the coverage of what's happening on the ground because there's so much propaganda. There's so much misinformation. And this is not really a motivating factor, but let's also throw it in there. This doesn't impact me, but the Trump administration has basically came out and said that if you're spreading fake news about the war, they want to charge you with treason. Well, okay, that's a little difficult considering there's so much fake news. How are we supposed to know when there's AI videos, when there's old videos, when there's propaganda videos? And then, of course, there's the massive censorship campaign from these countries that are not letting people film and share the footage online. And that is confirmed. So the whole thing is a mess, quite frankly. The whole thing is a mess. And so if you're trying to understand how bad it is, I think the truth is nobody knows. I think the truth is that nobody really knows. I think the truth is that President Trump and his administration have either been disastrously misled in this situation or disastrously committed to defending Israel and its interests. And so they're basically tied on to this deal, and they really don't know how to get out. And because the timetable got cut in half for them to get the regime change war, they're just kind of firing from the hip. And there is a real response from the rest of the world. There is a real response from Europe and NATO and the East and China and the Gulf nation states and even our neighbors. There is a real response there. But now that this war, I think the lie that Trump was fed by whoever, his own intelligence people, his own envoy, Netanyahu, whoever, I think the lie that was told to Trump, or maybe he made up the lie, was that, hey, we can go in there. We have military superiority, which I don't think anybody doubts. We can go in there. We have military superiority, and we can just wipe them out, and that'll be that. They really believed that that was the case, and obviously that was not the case. And so this is when the propaganda gets out of control, And Trump comes out every day and keeps talking about how they've won the war. They've won the war. They've won the war. They've won the war. And Iran's military is done. It's annihilated. And yet every single day, Iran keeps striking. Every single day, Iran keeps striking multiple targets every single day. So how is that possible? How is it possible that we have won the war and annihilated Iran's military when they keep striking multiple targets every single day? Well, of course, that's not possible. That's a lie. Trump is lying. He's a liar. Now, you could come out and say, well, I understand why Trump is lying. He's trying to keep morale high. He's trying to build support for this war. That's what we need. It's time of war. We need morale. We need support, whatever. Okay, fine. You can go into that mindset if that's your prerogative, but he's lying. He's lying. Something doesn't make sense. We eliminated Iran's military, but they keep hitting multiple targets every day. We won the war, but we might need boots on the ground, and we need help from our NATO allies in the Strait of Hormuz. And also, we're looking at, we probably need $200 billion too. Well, that doesn't sound like you've won the war at all. That sounds like you're in a serious struggle and you need help in the war. And you're not getting enough. And dare I say, oh God, don't even dare say it. Maybe it's not that you're not winning. Maybe you're losing. Well, what are the parameters? What are the goals? What are the missions? I don't know. Nobody seems to know. And maybe they believed, and this was another lie that was told to Trump. This was another lie that was told to the American people, that if we go in there and wipe out Iran's leadership, then there would be an organic grassroots revolution, let's say, taking their government, and the people would rise up and take their government. That didn't happen. They tried multiple ways. They tried multiple ways and multiple times to do that, and it never happened. In fact, the exact opposite happened. The exact opposite. And, I mean, go figure. Even Iranians that maybe didn't support the regime, they probably don't like the countries that are bombing them and killing kids in their country. They probably don't like them either. And so now you're in this deadlock where nobody seems to know what's going on. Bombs are dropping every day. People are getting killed. U.S. is now like, it's like quicksand for us. Seems like quicksand. We can't get out of it. And now we're looking at, okay, well, what's the impact going to be for us? Is it going to be as simple as we need more government funding? We need troops on the ground? Is it going to be we're going to start seeing $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 a gallon gas? Is that going to be around? And nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. Now, I wonder what they're going to do. I wonder what they're going to do about Congress here. I want to go to this short clip of Lauren Boebert. But I wonder what they're going to do, because there's going to be some pressure in D.C. There's going to be some pressure in D.C., I've no doubt. And you're going to have congressmen and women, they're going to look up. They're going to look at the calendar. They're going to see now you're what? I'll throw a number out there, like 200 days away from the midterms, whatever it is. They're going to look up at the calendar. They're going to see they're a couple hundred days away from the midterms. They're going to look at approval for this war, and they're going to say, okay, do I need to publicly be against this war? Do I need to publicly be for this war? What do I need to do to get reelected? Or what do my constituents think about this? And there's going to be pushback in Congress. And because the Republican majority in the House is so thin, it's going to create a massive barrier for them to push more funding and more support for this war, should they decide to actually go through Congress. Now, the more they decide to just skip Congress and not go through the constitutional measurements for getting into war, which is why they don't call it a war, then the more unpopular this is going to get, and the more outraged members of Congress are going to get. So these are all in very thin margins right now. These are all in very thin margins, and the White House knows that. And I feel like when you're sitting here on the fence with these small margins, the White House basically has to say to themselves, they have to say, okay, well, do we do the right thing, considering how tight this is, or do we just do what we want? And so far, the answer has been they're just going to do what they want. It doesn't matter about Congress. It doesn't matter about votes. It doesn't matter about approval rating. They're just going to do this war. That's what they're committed to. Screw the American people. Now, if they decide that this could hurt the midterms, or this isn't popular, or we at least have to go through Congress for $200 billion, then they may, okay, we'll do that, and then they can see how that goes. I don't think it would go well. And I think the more this administration, the more war that they engage in without going through Congress, I think the outrage in Congress is going to get louder and louder. And it's not just going to be the Democrats. It's not. It's going to be Republicans, and it's going to be enough Republicans that it's going to flip that majority if it came to a vote. Now, you can say the obvious, which is, hey, Owen, AIPAC controls both sides of Congress. They own the votes. Do you really think that it will make a difference? The answer is yes, guys. Because at the end of the day, it's not AIPAC that gets to vote. Now, they buy the politicians and essentially believe that they're buying the vote. Things are different now. AIPAC is exposed. Israel is not popular. And the ramifications or the political consequences now of supporting this war and supporting Israel are so heavy that, yes, even AIPAC bought and paid for members of Congress are going to sit back and say, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it this time. That's where I see it going. So let's go to Lauren Boebert. Her vote will be important if it comes to a vote. She's one of the Republicans whose vote that they're going to need. So here she is outside the Capitol, asked about $200 billion for this war.
I will not vote for a war supplemental. No, I am a no. I've already told leadership I am a no on any war supplementals. I am so tired of spending money elsewhere. I am tired of the industrial war complex getting all of our hard-earned tax dollars. I have folks in Colorado who can't afford to live. We need America First policies right now, and that I'm not doing that. We need the Save America Act, FISA with warrants. There's a lot of hard lines that I have right now, and we've got to get our act together if we want to keep this majority. And the path that we're going doesn't look very promising.
Should the administration get out of Iran?
That's up to the president. I will not vote.
Now, I don't want to get too much into this right now for the sake of time. So I'm just going to put this simply here. Folks, there is a major upheaval in Washington, D.C. You're not seeing it. You're not hearing about it because of how big and serious. And it's like a total change of the guard is what we're talking about here. A generational change of American politics, a generational change of American foreign policy. The American people are louder and more upset than they've ever been because of the immediate feedback loop that you get on social media. They can see it in real time now. So I don't want to get into it now. I think you guys kind of understand what I'm saying directionally here. Lauren Boebert's opinion there is the majority opinion in Congress. The question is, are Republicans willing to vote against Trump? Are Republicans willing to vote against Republican leadership? Are Republicans willing to go out and vote against a war, even though they know their AIPAC handler is going to have a thing or two to say about that? That's where it's going. Now, to hit some of these war headlines. An urgent investigation is underway to determine how an F-35 stealth fighter jet, which costs roughly $100 million and is nearly invisible to radar, was struck during a combat mission. So our F-35s are getting hit, even though we've apparently wiped out the enemy. They have no military. They have no Navy. We've won the war, and some of our most elite fighter jets are getting hit. So something doesn't add up here. We've won the war, but Trump is begging NATO for help. Trump blasts NATO allies as cowards for not stepping into the Strait of Hormuz. Well, now it looks like the situation in the Strait of Hormuz is, trying to make sense of all the propaganda, folks, is like, for me, that'd be like doing some advanced algebra or something, or like, what is the hardest math out there? I can't do it. I see that stuff and I'm just like, oh. What it appears like is happening now in the Strait of Hormuz is that Iran, either directly or through proxies, however, Iran still has control of the strait. Iran is now dictating who's getting in and out of the strait. And the rest of these countries that rely on the Strait of Hormuz more than we do, they're sitting back and they're saying, sorry, Trump, I can't help you. I need this strait open. And right now, all I can do is work with Iran. And what is Trump going to say? How can Trump say anything? Because he's the one that just released the Russian oil. They're the ones that are going to release the Iranian oil next. So NATO's probably sitting there saying, hey, hold on. You're upset with me. You're upset with our countries for looking out for our best interests. And yet here you are releasing Russian oil and releasing Iranian oil because you need to bring the price of oil down for your best interest. And then you're going to be mad at us because we don't want to get involved in this war that Israel dragged you into that we don't really like much anyway. It ain't working. It ain't working. So somewhere Trump got bad information or somewhere Trump mismeasured, but that's what it looks like. And so now apparently Iran has cut a deal with all of these other countries, and it's now a pay-for-play operation. So originally Trump said, we're going to control the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to have our military escorting people in and out. And everybody balked at that and said, not so much. And then Iran said, hey, we'll let anybody through as long as you work with us and pay us off. And now that's what all of these countries are doing for their best interest. And because Trump released the Russian oil and the Iranian oil, he can't say anything. He can't say anything. And if he calls them and says, hey, why are you working with Iran? They say, hey, why are you working with Iran? Hey, why are you working with Russia? What do you mean, why are we? It's cooked. It's cooked. And then, take whatever you want seriously from Trump at this point. So you can believe this or not, but he claims that he had no idea any of this was going to happen. Trump claims he had no idea any of this was going to happen when the war started.
Incredible what we've done. I tell you, the job we've done. If I didn't terminate Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, you would right now, Israel would be gone. It would be incinerated.
I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't think anybody believes that for 1 second. And if that was true, why didn't it happen? So I think that's just an outright lie.
And probably the Middle East likewise. And remember,
but none of that happened, and nobody else believes that would happen. Nobody. And you know what? Hey, that sounds really awful. I don't support that. But you know what? At the same time, not my problem.
they got all of those missiles. And I heard they were sending missiles to UAE. I said, that's strange. UAE is like the banker for Iran. They're like the banker. Qatar, their neighbors, they got along okay. Saudi Arabia. All of a sudden, Kuwait is getting hit. Bahrain is getting, all these countries are getting hit. There was no expert that would say that was going to happen. It's not a question of like, gee, should you have known? And if we did know, big deal. I mean, we have to do what we have to do.
Oh, so if we knew all of our friends and allies were going to get attacked, we were going to do it anyway. So that goes against the entire original narrative for this war. I think those countries are not convinced that it's Iran that is hitting them. I think that those countries are not so sure. Now, they might be 50-50. They might say, well, it could be Iran hitting us because we've been working with the United States on this. Or they might be thinking this is Israel hitting us, false flagging to make us think it's Iran so that we can get dragged into this war too. And I think the proof that that's the case is in the fact that they have not joined this war yet. They have not gone all in to make sure Iran is defeated, whatever that means. So to me, that tells me the Gulf nation states, the other states are sitting here, they're saying, we're not so sure who's hitting us. We're not so sure what's going on right now. We're still trying to figure that out. And Trump says, I had no idea that this was going to happen. I mean, that just seems unreal. Because even in his own statement, so honestly, this guy's such a fucking liar, man. I'm sorry. It's just outrageous. So he says that, and this is all in that last statement, Trump claims that Iran would have wiped out the entire Middle East if it wasn't for him. That Iran is so out of control, Iran is so unhinged that they would be bombing the entire Middle East if it wasn't for him, even though that never happened in Obama's years. And then he comes out and he says, we had no idea Iran would start bombing the Middle East. Come on, guys. Come on. This guy just talks out of his ass. Donald Trump just talks out of his ass. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even think. He doesn't even bother to make sense. And I guess he doesn't have to when he has a cult following. Think about how ridiculous that is. He says, if it wasn't for me, Iran would have been bombing the entire Middle East. And then he says, I didn't think Iran would start bombing the entire Middle East. You just make crap up. You literally just say anything that comes to your mind. It doesn't make any sense. You look like a liar. You look like an outrageous liar who's the president of the United States, by the way, who just makes stuff up. You just make it up as you go along. Okay. So we've seen before that they tried to get the Kurds involved. And apparently they're still trying to get the Kurds involved. Folks, this is weird. So you get this video. The Kurdistan Freedom Party released a footage urging Kurdish forces to unite against Iran. A fighter appears armed with a U.S.-made 5.56 45 FN Colt M4A1 carbine. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know about all, U.S. military weapons, but that's pretty common. And it's a woman? I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? It's a woman? I'm sorry. This isn't adding up. Something is off about this. I don't know what this is, but it ain't right. This to me is pure propaganda. I don't know who this lady is. I don't know if she's actually affiliated with Kurds or not, but they have made multiple attempts to get the Kurds involved in this war. The Kurds have rejected them. And now all of a sudden in the Middle East, of all things, of all places in the Middle East, they have a female spokesperson. They have a female soldier. Have you ever seen that before in your life? No. So something is off here. I don't know what this is, but it's pure propaganda, and it'll be another failed attempt to get the Kurds involved. Now, and this is just I think, growing anti-Israel sentiment around the world. Anti-Israel group claims responsibility for blaze at Czech arms maker. So this is in the Czech Republic, where there is an arms maker that is Israeli, Elbit Systems. There is likely a link to terror, says Czech Interior Minister, after arson at warehouse owned by LPP Holding, which has announced plans to partner with Israel's Elbit Systems. So they come out. They announce that they will be working with Israel and the Israeli army, and the next thing they know, the place gets burned to the ground. How do you think the European countries are going to feel about that? Do you think that'll make them want to support Israel more or less? Now, here's where you get to some of the stuff on the ground. Israeli analyst, this is Shail Ben Ephraim. My WhatsApp groups are filled with people having breakdowns after not sleeping for 2 weeks. In Jerusalem, 4 alerts were heard in a 90-minute span. Iran has been able to increase the number of launches daily. Everyone seems angry at the IDF and Netanyahu for lying about the destruction of Iranian capabilities. Now, I might have a couple other pieces on this here. But as I told you yesterday, that I had sources in Israel telling me the same thing, and that they were afraid to say or do anything. And I told them I wouldn't share the footage or anything because I don't want to get them in trouble. But they're like, hey, I had to log into a VPN just to send this to you. We're living in bunkers. Nobody's sleeping. It's miserable. We hear bombs 24/7. The airport is inoperable. And none of this is getting into the Western media because it obviously goes against the lies that Donald Trump and the administration are telling us. Now, I've also heard, wouldn't surprise me, I've also heard that there is starting to be a little bit of a resistance inside the IDF itself, and that the Israeli soldiers are starting to kind of give Netanyahu a side eye. Now, we know there have been issues at the Knesset. We know that there have been issues with suicide from members of the IDF, whether that's because they feel ashamed or they had to kill kids and they're not happy, whatever the situation is. You've heard these stories. So I wonder what the situation in Israel really is. Now, we know that they're censoring any information. They're trying to stop any information from getting out. They're threatening to arrest, or they are arresting people that film. And then I'm sure there's not good, solid internet when you're living in these bunkers. I don't know. But it goes against everything we've heard from our administration about what's happening in this war and what's happening on the ground in Israel. And it's just like, for all these people that want to beat their chest about how they're standing with Jews and they're standing with Israel, they're so much better than you, you dirty anti-Semite. None of them, not a single one of them, says anything about what the Israelis are going through every day. You notice that? None of them seem to care. None of them seem to care that Israelis could be dying. None of them seem to care that Israelis are living in bunkers. They don't know when they can get out. Tel Aviv is getting smashed every day. None of them care. None of them say anything. They're total frauds. They don't care about anyone but themselves. They don't care about people. They don't care about Jews. They don't care about anyone. They care about getting paid. They care about staying in office. They care about doing whatever they have to do to keep the role in the political world that they have. Or maybe they did something nasty on camera. And by the way, you had Trey Yingst, the Fox News correspondent who's been stationed in Israel. Trey Yingst, probably at the risk of getting arrested, he shared a video on his phone that had all the alerts, basically that Israel was just getting bombed for the last 24 hours. Nonstop, Israel getting bombed. And he shared the alerts, like, here's all the bombs happening in Israel. He shared that on his social media. That was probably pretty risky of him, I will say. Trey Yingst, you got to give the guy credit. First, he goes into these zones that are getting smashed with missiles. They might give Fox News intelligence to try to keep him safe, but you never know. And then he goes out and shares that video, which he probably wasn't supposed to do. But he shared it. But see, you don't see that anywhere. Nobody's reporting how Tel Aviv is getting hit every day. Nobody's showing you the footage on the ground in Tel Aviv because it's literally illegal. This whole thing is a giant cover-up. It's a giant propaganda operation, and you're forced to pay for it. And you're forced, and you're expected to believe these lies to support another war in the Middle East that everybody is sick of. It's the least popular war in modern American history. And it's just nothing but lies and propaganda to try to keep you interested in supporting it. And it's not working. And the longer this thing goes on, the worse this administration looks. And the higher gas prices go, the worse this administration looks. And the more the original promises of MAGA, the original promises that this administration was supposed to be delivered on, the more that they don't happen up till the midterms, the worse this is going to get. And I don't know what option they have. I don't know. Who knows what's even true at this point? It seems that they've lied to us about virtually every single thing since this war has started. So who even knows what's true? Well, we try to make sense of it all. That's what we do here on the Owen Report. We're going to take our first break. We're going to come back, open the phone lines. I do have a lot of other news, but I said we'd open the phone lines in the second hour, so we're going to do that. 3 questions. We're going to do a traditional call-in type show today. 3 questions. What is your grade of President Trump? Your thoughts on Trump? Are you still MAGA? What are your thoughts on MAGA? And then what do you think about the Iran war? So these are the questions I want to hear today. There's going to be 3 of them. I want to hear from everybody. We're going to open the phones. I imagine they will be pretty busy. But that's what we're going to do here for the second hour. We'll dip in and out of the other news I have today, too. We'll see how this goes in the second hour, and then we'll get into the third hour and go from there. But open lines coming up on the other side of this break.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right. Well, a lot of craziness happening out there in the markets. And you're sitting there, maybe you're looking at your stock portfolio. You're sitting there, maybe you're looking at your 401k, your savings account, and you're thinking, what do I want to do? Do I need to get into precious metals? Maybe you're asking yourself, is it time? Maybe you got a lot of questions. In fact, if you do, I think you should give my friends at Allegiance Gold a call. Really, that's all you need to do. A simple call. It's free. 844-790-9191. Any questions you have, you're curious about gold, you're curious about silver, you're curious about precious metals, you're curious about, hey, what do you guys think is going to happen in the stock market? What do you guys think is going to happen with precious metals? What do you guys think are going to happen with banks and all that? They'll answer any of your questions. They'd love to hear from you. Just give our friends at Allegiance Gold a call, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. Now, here's the deal. I partnered with Allegiance Gold because they have an A+ review with the Better Business Bureau. A+, nearly 10,000 clients nationwide. And right now they're offering $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. You heard that right, $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments, whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings. They make it simple to make the move. Now that $5,000 could be one weight today, a different weight next week. You never know. It seems that the prices are going one direction, and that is up as the markets are getting crazier out there. But give them a call. See what they think. Call is free, 844-790-9191, or go to protectwithowen.com. Talk to our friends at Allegiance Gold. Protect your wealth because no one else will.
It's your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast, The Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, I'm going to spare you the clip of Trump here with the roaring helicopter in the background that we know is one of the most obnoxious things we have to deal with in political media. So he goes out to the press. I don't know where he's going this weekend. Maybe Mar-a-Lago. Maybe he'll go play some golf. And he says, well, he gets asked about oil prices as they continue to go up. And he says, well, I thought that they would go higher. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? He thought they would go higher? How high did you think that they would go? And you're okay with that? You're okay with the American people paying that price and you breaking your promise, multiple promises? And then, of course, they would be higher. The reason why they're not higher is because he released the oil sanctions on Russia. He's going to release the oil sanctions on Iran, and they drained the strategic oil reserves. That's the only reason why it hasn't gone higher. So they've done, I don't know if they have anything left. I don't know if they have anything left to try to keep prices lower. I think it's it. I think they're out of options. Because now you've got, like, the numbers are up for debate, but about 15% of the world's oil refining capabilities have been knocked out because of this war. About 15%. Number could be higher, could be lower, but that's kind of about what the average is when I look around the spectrum of analysis. Looks like about 15% of the oil capacity knocked out. You're not going to be able to start getting oil out of Venezuela for at least another 6 months to a year. So you screwed that deal up. And the oil that was ready for the market, you gave to Israel. So I don't know what they do now. And there's no end of the war in sight. This thing is going from bad to worse. And you know what the level after worse is? Let's hope we don't see it. But you know what? In other parts of the world, they are seeing it. They are experiencing it. We're lucky we have it. Let's pray to God we don't have to get to that level, which is catastrophic. You know what? And I don't like it. Let's be clear. I don't like it. But if $5 a gallon gasoline is the worst that we have to deal with because of this, then I think it's like, okay, we're not the ones living in bunkers. We're not the ones having schools blown up. We're not the ones suffering thousands of casualties. We're not the ones whose tourist industry is getting crushed. We're not the ones whose holy sites and religious sites are getting hit and shut down. So, all things considered, as much as I hate it, as much as I'm against it, as pissed off as I am, if $5 a gallon gasoline is the worst we have to deal with here, then I think we'll be pretty lucky. Let's pray that's the worst we have to deal with. But you're like 1 or 2 steps away from it getting above $5, which again, that's just money. Who knows what happens next? Who knows? So, all right. Let's get the phone lines rolling, shall we? So here are the questions. Let me get everything set up here. There we are. So here are the questions for today. What grade do you give President Trump? Do you still consider yourself MAGA, or what do you think about MAGA? And then what do you think about the war on Iran? So what do you think about Trump? What do you think about MAGA? What do you think about the war in Iran? Phone number is live. 747-200-5560. Now, remember, there's basically 2 lines. So there's one person that's on the air, and then there's one person waiting. So that's why it's hard to get in. So when you hear somebody hang up, when you hear somebody hangs up, that's your opportunity. A line opens up. I answer the phone, and you are on the air. When you hear my voice, you are on the air. I just ask you your name and where you're from, and then we get into your call. So without waiting anymore, let's take our first caller of the day. What's your name? Where are you? Oh, hold on a second here. There we go. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is John. I'm from Connecticut.
All right, John, what are your thoughts on Trump? You're great on Trump. What are your thoughts on MAGA? What are your thoughts on the Iran war?
I can't believe I voted for this guy. I mean, we're in Iraq #2 now. Are you kidding me? And then on top of that, we're spending how much money a day? I mean, this guy sucks. I can't believe I voted for this guy. My grade on Trump is an F, just because of this whole thing. Other than that, I'm so upset at this whole thing. I mean, people are dying all over the place, and we're spending so much money for what reason I do not know. I mean, the Joe Kent thing really threw me for a loop. I can't believe he even said that there was no danger coming out of Iran. I mean, it's just crazy. That's all I really have to say.
Well, and you know what's just to kind of echo that, you know, Tulsi Gabbard and the intelligence community agreed that there was no threat. Rand Paul just came out and said the same thing. I wonder if there's not going to be more fallout from the Joe Kent resignation. All right, so you've answered about Trump and the Iran war. What are your thoughts on the status of MAGA?
Is it even a thing anymore? I mean, I guess I was MAGA. I don't consider myself MAGA anymore. And I've talked to plenty of people that are part of MAGA, and they are not. They don't want anything to do with it anymore. They're just so done. They're so done with this whole thing. I mean, $7 a gallon? Are you kidding me? Like that. The whole.
Is that what it is in Connecticut? Is it $7 a gallon in Connecticut?
No. In Connecticut, it's about like $4.09. But I'm not. It's not. It's going to go to $7.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way that it's not.
I get people sending me their, they send me the pictures of the price at the pump in the different states. It's hard for me to keep track. It looks like just about everywhere is at $4 or going over $4 now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, I'm a farmer out of Connecticut. I mean,
it's even worse. It's even worse. The farmers are getting crushed on this deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm 34 years old. I'm just getting into farming. And, boy, what a wrong year to get into farming, man. Seriously.
Well, it might seem like the wrong year from a business perspective, but it might be the right time for other reasons, John, if you catch my drift.
That is true. That is true. But one last thing before I go, I just want to let you know that I really enjoy your show. I started listening to you on InfoWars, and I'm actually done with watching InfoWars now. I just watch you all the time.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that call. God bless. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Sarah from Florida.
You say Tara?
No, Sarah. Sorry.
Sarah. Okay, Sarah, go ahead. Sarah, what do you think?
Trump gets an F.
All right, okay, go ahead. You know the schedule. Go ahead.
Yep. I Yep, I was MAGA, no longer MAGA. Now it's die hard. Definitely think that the war with Iran is a short-sighted disaster. I think it's the last of the boomer rot crawl. And I think I appreciate what you said yesterday about just how the boomer voters are. And I really think, especially being a Floridian, I think that boomers have just outlived their voting experience. I think they have no longer given any relevancy in the country. I don't think they serve any purpose. I think they're super tribal. I don't think that they've expanded on their education, and they were useful idiots because Trump, in his first term, surrounded himself with patriots, with a diverse coalition, but now he's bought and paid for, and those useful idiots are only useful in that one direction, and that direction is not our country. So I'm completely disappointed. I don't support MAGA whatsoever. I'm retired military. My husband's in the military. It's just a mess on every installation. And I mean, we're just telling you from Florida, but I'm sure it's like that everywhere. There's just a lot of chaos. It's not cheap anywhere. In Florida here, we've got gas prices that are approaching $4.50. Never. And it's just, we've got all these boomers out here that act like Trump's some kind of savior. So it's tribal. It's outworked. And I think that they're just no longer useful idiots for us.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the call. I want to respond briefly to the boomer issue here. And this is such a hard nut to crack. And it's great that we're hearing from military people like Sarah today too. A farmer, a military, a veteran. Okay. Good callers here. The boomer issue is such a hard nut to crack because here I am. I was raised by boomers. My parents are boomers. I love my parents. A lot of the people that inspired me are boomers, right? So I can't, it's not like I'm disrespecting here. It's not what this is. I'm not trying to do generational, infighting here. But at the same time, you look at it through a political lens, and there's an undeniable rift between that generation and my generation. And it seems that it's really not even a rift. It's a total disconnect. And you can see some of the memes and some of the jokes. It's like, oh, look, boomers supporting another war that's going to crush the future of their grandchildren. And it's like, but there's a reality to that. There's a reality to that. And it's like boomers doing a line dance or playing golf, whatever it is, as they're crushing the economy for their future generations. And there is a reality to that. And so it seems like there's this total disconnect where younger generations are sitting here. We're not kids anymore. We're having kids now. We're not just, young idiots anymore. We're into our 30s, our 40s. And we're saying, hey, we've come of age. Enough is enough. I'm sorry, this has failed. Nobody's denying that the direction in this country is wrong. Nobody seems to deny that America's been declining. That was like the whole thing about getting Trump into office. So it's like we're all kind of in agreement. It's not going well. We're going the wrong direction. And then you get to the pivotal moment, and it's the same generation of people supporting the same thing over and over again. And the younger generations are like, hey, what the hell are you doing? You're screwing me, bro. You're screwing me. What are you doing? You're screwing your grandkids. What are you doing? So it's frustrating, but it's an undeniable dilemma. It's an undeniable phenomenon. And then at the real, political tier, it seems like they're just going for broke. It seems like they've just decided, we know our time of influence and power is waning, so we got to go for everything that we've desired and been fighting for all these years, and they don't care what they leave behind, it seems like. And the younger generations that are slowly but surely becoming the majority, slowly but surely coming of age, we're just sitting here, eyes wide, distraught, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then who are the two people that are basically leading this now? It's Donald Trump, 80 years old. It's Netanyahu, 80 years old. And we're like, what are you guys doing? What is wrong with you? A lot of that sentiment going around. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
What's going on? This is Ahmed from New York.
Ahmed, what's up? All right, Ahmed, Trump, MAGA, Iran war, go.
Trump, he's in a rough position right now, ultimately with his supporters. But his supporters his real supporters understand that if they attack him, it's only because they love the country and they want the best out of the country and out of the administration that they've been fighting for. They're risking their freedom and family and everything they've been building, such as yourself, the last 10 years. We just want results. We want the right thing for our country. We're American patriots at the end of the day. I feel like Trump, other than being in a rough position, he's in a great position as a president because he has taken on so many things just to lead up to where he's at right now. I feel like ultimately he's protecting Iran because Israel could set off the thing with the Samson effect and cause a catastrophic war and would literally wipe out and cause a depopulation scheme that we've defeated the last few years that they try to launch through COVID. This is an investigation with COVID as well that is attached to Israel with the human harvesting, the organ harvesting, the human trafficking, the pharmaceutical companies. Everything has been pumped out basically out of Israel. And in order to dismantle Israel, you have to do it from the outside in, not the inside out. And it's complete psyop what's going on between media. There's a media blackout over there. But there has been, ultimately, I depend and I trust my military. I don't think my military, the good Christians out there, the crusaders, the knights, the real knights, I don't think they would sell their country out, even though they might have other oaths. But I truly believe that they wouldn't sell the American civilian out, such as yourself, Owen. I know Trump has pardoned you, and I feel like he's still in the same mentality. Like, yo, I'd fucking come rescue this guy at any time, at any point. And I know that he's just holding me to the fire just because he's doing his job.
Trump told me to shut the fuck up. That's the only recognition I ever got from Trump. He told me to shut the fuck up. I don't really care. This is beyond Trump. I'm just saying, I just want to hear.
But he recognizes you.
Your thoughts on Trump. Your thoughts on Trump, your thoughts on MAGA, your thoughts on the Iran war. I mean, you kind of just went off on a bit of a tirade there, but just let's limit it to the three topics. Just make it quick here so we can get to the other callers.
Okay, so I'm still rocking with Trump. It's my job as a journalist and also an American civilian, somebody that would vote for him, to always put him to the fire, but do it like my old grandfather. You know what I'm saying? Like, Grandpa, you fucking up today. You know what I'm saying? Don't say, yo, Grandpa, yo, you need to get the fuck out of here. Can't be like that with him, bro. The guy's like 80-something years old. He needs support system around him, even though he's got gigantic money, whatever it is. At the end of the day, the grassroots and the ground, like the ground support is what it needs most. The Iran war, there's no war. If there's really a war, the real war is the American patriots versus the 6 satanic Freemasons that work for the cabal that are being exposed. That's the real war that's going on, by the way, Owen.
So are you, is this a Q thing? It sounds like you're queuing here.
No, I'm not queuing. This is Metropolitan Police in the UK. It had a disclosure rule for any of the Freemasons that belong to the Metropolitan Police. They have to reveal themselves and disclose it on their career, their resume. So if me, Ahmed, I'm a Mason, I want to go work for the Metropolitan Police, I have to put on my resume if I belong to a Freemason lodge or not. This is groundbreaking. This is universal. This is going to be coming here in the United States of America. And I wouldn't be surprised if Trump is the one that's actually leading that movement.
All right. Well, I guess we'll call that a positive then. I guess we'll say that's 2 negatives, 1 positive. Says it's not Q, but it seems kind of in the realm of Q. But all right. That's Ahmed in New York. Thank you, Ahmed. Next caller, what's your name? Where you from?
Hey, Owen, this is Joseph from Las Vegas, Nevada. How you doing?
All right, Joseph. Good. All right, thoughts on Trump, MAGA, Iran war?
Well, I saw the writing on the wall about 6 months ago, and I just always thought that no, it couldn't be that way. And you know, finally, after this last 3 weeks excursion, I had to throw in the towel, and MAGA's 100% extinct. I was one of the guys that had that Trump on my truck, on my car. I went to all the rallies. I've been to like 7 rallies. Biggest supporter. I'm 27 years old, you know, but the thing is that a lot of people, especially the older generation, like they are totally down with this. Like I talked to my dad about this, and some people really think that this is the greatest move that we've made in the last 50 years, which is crazy. But no, it's totally extinct. Everything was going good, but then, you know, Bondi can't deliver, Todd Blanche can't deliver. Nobody's doing nothing but hurting us. I mean, it's just like, when was the goods going to happen? You know, I bought a house recently. I thought rates were going to go down. But you know, that's definitely not going to happen now. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but, yeah, it's just really, I think I'm a Christian. I love, God. And I think it says it in the Bible, like when you trust in man, you get punished for trusting in man. And I think this is a punishment, on our nation for trusting in somebody. You know, this is as worse as it can get. This is the ultimate defeat. There's no way it can be saved at this point either. I mean, there's people calling. I hear some people trying to express, you know, he's done a lot of good in this and that, and he has done a lot of good. But all that just goes right out the window when you do something like this. When he just started a new Ukraine war that's going to last longer than Ukraine and be bigger than Ukraine. I mean, that's not going to help anybody. So I don't know. I'm just being honest with myself. I used to debate people, all my friends, about, you know, moves Trump makes and like his support with Israel. And I used to always have his back with anything. But, you know, up until 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever, you can't have his back anymore. I mean, it's impossible to be a sane person with a head on your shoulders and to believe this BS about the strikes on, you know, we did the B-2 bombers, and then, you know, why are we back? There's right after that, it doesn't make sense. And I've always seen Trump. I've seen every speech he's ever done, literally, and I haven't missed one. And I could see his voice, how he talks now, and how when he tries to dodge questions and beat around the bush. And that's not how Trump ever was. You know, there's been some stuff where he was like, okay, maybe we'll beat around the bush about economy or something like that. But, you know, we could have faith in that. But when it comes to these questions about, you know, like, hey, your allies, Japan, they don't know what to do because of this whole issue. Like, there's some serious questions are going down, and you see him scuffling around. It's just not the person who he was 6 months ago. And
Yeah.
if someone is being honest with themselves, they would understand that. I mean, I pay attention to him more than most people do, so I don't know. But there's a lot of people out there that, you know, they think that this is a good idea. They don't see the implications that this holds. And the Fox News, all the media is just going to show one side of it. So people are just I don't think it could be saved. I think the ship is sinking. There's no other country to move to, but the ship is sinking, and there's just no one's bailing nothing. It's getting worse. More water is coming in by the second, and before you know it, the country is gone. And
yeah, well, I think you're starting to get a little off the map there. I want to get back to the topics, but I think we understand your issues. And as far as that Japan issue with the prime minister here yesterday, I do have some news on that we will get to, because there's some stuff going on with that the media is not covering. So that's why we'll get to it here on the Owen Report. It's very important. So thank you for that call. Next caller, what's your name? Where you're from?
It's water snob Sam White here.
All right, Sam, thoughts on Trump, MAGA, Iran war?
Oh, just depressing, and I'm drinking twice as much as I should probably. But, yeah, I was really worried. I had a couple guys on another show the other day, and they were saying how, you know, the oil coming through the strait is one thing, but it's all the other stuff that is going to turn the world into, you know, famine, like for fertilizer and stuff, and all the things that we need for all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so many things that come through the strait, not just oil. I mean, we can almost deal with that, but it's all the other stuff that's going to cause starvation, is what these guys were saying, like in the billions.
Yeah, I don't think we know.
So,
I don't think we know what the real effect of this is going to be. And I think that 3 weeks in, officially now today, the one thing we know is that we don't know. We just don't know. Nobody seems to know.
yeah, and I do Instacart for a living, pretty much. So I mean, gas is like my life, you know, and I already drive a big Chevy, so like 10 miles to the gallon. This is going to kill me.
Well, once the price of energy goes up, the price of everything goes up, and Trump is well aware of that. So, you know, how he mismeasured this thing so badly, we'll probably never know. We can just, you know, assume. I've done my play-by-play on why. Yeah, okay. So let's just make it short and sweet. You know, Trump, MAGA, Iran war. You're just a negative on all of it.
Oh yeah, I used to be full MAGA, and I'm full non-MAGA now. I mean, I never thought I'd get to the place where I just listen to him speak, and I just like it was like how I used to felt when Biden would talk. I just go, cringe. Everything's cringe. I'm just like, what? And that 100% thing that they got on him, like 100% approval. He's like, even Kim Jong-un gets 98.8, you know, just to make it look realistic.
Yeah, no, it's that was like the next level. It's like they know they're unpopular and they're going to levels of propaganda that even the Biden administration didn't go to. Next caller, what's your name? Where you're from?
Oh, and Don from Orange County.
All right, Don, thoughts on Trump, MAGA, Iran war. Go.
Trump, man, he's doing exactly what he is told to do. Let's stop looking at him like he's being a dumbass about shit. He's just being aloof for his own image I guess it was, you know, I mean, plausible deniability within his own ego. MAGA, as long as you've known me calling in, I've never been a MAGA guy. I don't do that label stuff. That's psyop stuff. You know, the whole boomer thing, the whole MAGA thing, the whole, you know, it's like Black Lives Matter type stuff. It's psyop shit.
I do agree. I think the issue, let me just say real quick, I agree with you, generally speaking. The only thing is when you're having these conversations, sometimes you have to be able to, like, you know, put things in a box just to have the conversation. So obviously not every boomer thinks the exact same, right? I'm not claiming that, but I think it's for sake of conversation, a fair thing to talk about the generational gap when it comes to foreign policy.
Yeah. I grew up family barbecues and stuff, you know, good old Americana, you know, culture, and that's how I grew up, and that's the country that I love and I miss and everything. But as far as the war, you know what, we're screwed, man. I mean, there's no way out of that. It's going to get bigger, and it's just going to. I went and filled up my tank today in Orange County, California. $98 for 18 gallons, and I just filled it up and I parked it. I'm going to get around on my mountain bike and my Harley from now on, and just try to unplug from that slavery stuff. And hey, one more quick thing before you hang up, before you let me go. I heard the other day you were talking about a party. This is going to put a smile on your face, man, because I think you need one. You know, I'm looking at you right now, and I'm serious. I'm looking at you right now, dude, and you're just dejected, and for all the right reasons. But here's the thing. You were talking about a party, and that got my wheels turning. You know what's a good idea for you to have a party with? A cookout with full court basketball outside, and music and all that stuff. I mean, let's settle this shit like grown men. Let's have full court basketball. Let's have music and food and everything. Call it the Win Network first year anniversary or whatever. If you want to start raising funds for it, or hey, let's do it, man. I'll come all the way over there.
I wonder if the Andy Frisella's gym in St. Louis has an outdoor pool. I don't know. I know they have a gym. I'm trying to think, like, you know, sand volleyball is fun, a pool, a gym.
Yeah.
I want to do music.
I'll come all the way out there for it. I will. From all the way from California, I'll come all the way out there for it. And,
the problem is by that time gas could be $20 a gallon, and a flight on the airplane, a flight might take 30 hours to get through security, and that's not even your $10,000 plane ticket. Let's hope it doesn't get that bad. I'm being a little facetious, but all right. So he throws in a little wild card. With the party stuff. All right, but everybody seems to be on the same page. Most people on the same page as far as the topics for today. Let's take the next caller. What's your name? Where you from?
Hey, TW in Kentucky.
All right, QW. Thoughts on Trump, MAGA, and the war?
Trump, grade F. I think people probably should have figured it out in his first term when he let Jonathan Pollard go back to Israel. That should have been an indication right there. The Iran war, it's ridiculous. I think this might be just a testing ground. Like if you look what the Ukraine war has done to warfare, it's changed it. And I think the weapons manufacturers want to test out all the shit that they've been working on since the Ukraine war popped off. I think the politicians in Washington, D.C. want your sons to go fight in Ukraine. They want to rape your daughters. And they want you to be poor. And it's funny how, like, right before this, everyone was saying, like, no political solution. But now the solution is, like, let's just go die in a Middle Eastern country. And for MAGA, it's, like, embarrassing. If you look at people commenting on Facebook about the war, they're saying, like, let's turn Iran into a parking lot. Let's nuke Iran. Like, it's the most ridiculous shit. We should be nuking Israel if we're going to nuke anybody. They're the ones with the nuclear weapons they're not supposed to have. They have a Samson option. Like for people to think that Iran is the threat while Israel controls our government and rapes kids and then goes back to Israel, like it's a joke. MAGA is cucked. America is cucked. It's not to be blackpilled or anything, but it's over.
Well, it's so crazy when you're dealing with the propaganda. Thank you for the call. It's so crazy when you're dealing with the propaganda. It's like, okay, try to find an example, right? Try to find an example so that maybe people can get a little more open-minded. And I guess I would go to COVID, vaccine safe and effective, your masks, the shutdown, the whole thing with COVID. It was like that was the most absurd, aggressive propaganda that we dealt with. And obviously a lot of people saw through it, and then we kind of learned from that. Now, you call in and you talk about foreign relations and you talk about Israel, and it's like there's so much. I mean, we're talking about decades of propaganda on the foreign relations, specifically dealing with Israel. We're talking about decades. And so if I come out here and I say all the things they say about Iran are true about Israel. Every time they talk about Iran killing people, Iranian aggression, Iranian nukes, Iranian proxy armies, all the stuff they say about Iran, Iranian radicals, whatever, the radical leadership, all the stuff they say about Iran is true about Israel. And it's like, oh my gosh, how can you say that? That's obviously not true. Well, I don't want to go down the list of why you might believe it's true or not. There's no point. It'll take too long, and I want to take the calls. But it's like, because there is such a wall of propaganda built for decades, this whole foreign policy, foreign relation issue is the most decades of building the propaganda around this issue, that you say something like that and people just can't even fathom. They can't even believe it. There's no way. And so I would say, look at what they did to you with a vaccine. Look at what they did to you in a mask. Do you remember how many people thought you were crazy? Remember how many people said that you were crazy if you didn't wear the mask? You were crazy if you didn't take the vaccine? And that's obviously like a sliver of time. So it feels like it's easier to say, oh, yeah, well, obviously that's different. But it's really not different. It's about trying to convince you of one thing that's not true. And that's really all it is. But they've been convincing you about foreign relations and foreign policy in the Middle East for decades that, yeah, you're right. It's not just a little sliver of time where you can kind of deal with it in a matter of a year and say, oh, okay, we were lied to about this. This is decades of lies. This is decades of lies in foreign policy. A lot harder to get through that wall, to get over that wall, to get through that wall. A lot harder to do that. And it's almost to a point where it doesn't even matter if you sit here and break it down bullet point by bullet point. It just won't matter. The propaganda, the brainwashing, the indoctrination is just too strong. It's so strong that even if you want to avoid the debate about the foreign policy, the foreign relations, the goods, the bads, whatever happens in the Middle East, even if you want to forego that debate and just say, hey, I just want out. I just want out. I just don't want anything to do about it. Whoever is good, whoever is bad, I don't care. I want out. I want to be done out of the Middle East. They can't even find common ground with you there. They can't even say, oh, okay. No, they think Iran needs to be destroyed. They think the Muslims all need to be destroyed. So it's like you can't even find a neutral. They won't even step foot on neutral ground on that issue. So, but I look at it now from following the situation, and it's pretty clear. I mean, folks, like everything they say about Iran is true about Israel. That's no endorsement of Iran. That's no endorsement of Islam. I'm not even commenting on that. I'm commenting on Israel. Israel has killed over 100,000 people in the last 3 years. Israel has been bombing 7 different countries. That's Israel. That's not Iran. That's Israel. Israel and their interests buying our Congress. Israel and their interests buying our media. These are just facts. Iran is not guilty of any of these things. And yet here you are, and all of these people are convinced that Iran is your enemy and Iran is the immediate threat and Iran needs to be neutralized. You can say they're good, you can say they're bad, you can say they're neutral, whatever. The facts about Israel still remain. And they won't even address these facts. They will rather twist and manipulate and massage these facts into thinking that somehow Israel is the victim, because that is the 50-year propaganda operation. More than 50 years. And now it's finally reached this head where it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work on the younger generations anymore. It doesn't work in the immediate factor of foreign issues and foreign policy anymore. It just fails on its face now. And so there's this huge divide of the people that are all in. It's Black Lives Matter for the right wing. You know, we got to stand up for Israel, whether it's theological, whether it's, you know, it's the right thing to do and they're the victim, whatever it is. It's just they can't get through that. And then there's a whole new political movement that's saying, no. And in fact, we actually look at Israel as maybe our enemy now. And so there is the issue. There is the tug. And then no matter who you get, it seems like that always remains. And so this is the big split. And I think that they know that that time is almost up. So that means either a big event, a false flag, a war, whatever it is, they know they have to do it now. And that's why we're dealing with this. It has nothing to do with America's interests. It has nothing to do with the average American, our way of life, anything. It's all about 50 plus years of propaganda to get something done in the Middle East. All the different interests, the foreign interests, the special interests, the military industrial complex, all of it. And it's all about doing it right now, because that 50 plus year propaganda is done. It's over. It doesn't work anymore. And so they still have enough people that believe it right now that they think they can do this and get away with it. But nobody seems to know what's really going on or what the plan is. And then when you say, no, this is about greater Israel, this is about them taking all of this land, and then they say it publicly, they just say you're an anti-Semite and a conspiracy theorist. And so there you go. Take your vaccine or you're going to die. Wear your mask or you're going to kill your grandma. So where do you go? Next caller, what's your name, where you're from?
Kelly Miles, from Texas. I just had a thought. What do you think about Trump possibly sending the troops to Lebanon instead? Since, he likes to pull the big tricks out of his hat.
So what, defend southern Lebanon from Israel?
No, to help Israel.
Oh, I mean, I've not heard anybody bring that up.
It's just a thought. He keeps upping the amount of troops that he's sending over there, and he's not real clear on any kind of messaging other than flip-flopping on everything.
That would be absurd. That would be so absurd. I mean, it's outrageous that Israel is getting away with what they're doing in Lebanon. It is outrageous. It is just unreal what they're doing in Lebanon, and they just get away with it, and they're the victim.
And there's no coverage. So, I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
All right, so thoughts on Trump, MAGA, and Iran war?
Oh, I'm just absolutely disgusted with all of it. Just disgusted. It's heartbreaking, but I'm kind of speechless about that.
What do you think if we see troops on the ground this weekend?
I think, unfortunately, I think that they're going to be sacrificial. That's my opinion. I don't see how it's going to go well. I just don't see it.
The call might have already been made. That
just, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
all right.
and then, thank you for the call. And then, while all of that is going on, all of these religious sites, I've got this other stuff in the news. We'll see if we get to it here. Let's keep hitting the calls, and then we'll close out the second hour here. Next caller, what's your name? Where you're from? Next caller, what's your name? Where you're from?
Oh, it's Alexis from Los Angeles.
Okay, Alexis, thoughts on Trump, MAGA, and the Iran war?
Yeah, definitely an F. MAGA, I think, is dead. I voted for him 3 times, and I just can't believe the second administration. And Iran is a total disaster. I just can't believe everything I voted for. He's done exactly the opposite. I started souring on him early. I didn't like his handling of the Ukraine war. I expected a peacemaker. He seemed like it's even worse. He seemed to, instead of going in there and demanding a settlement, just seems like it got worse. And then Iran, that's the nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah. And I wonder, too, with Iran, if we do end up seeing boots on the ground, eventually they're going to have to change messaging and say, well, we started it now we have to finish it. So it's just like at every turn, they have to admit that they lied, but they never admit that they lie.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is so damaging. This is the end of his presidency. I think we can only hope that he gets impeached in November.
Look, it's funny that you said that because I wasn't going to go there today, but I bet you, and maybe we'll do this again with the calls, I bet you there is a significant percentage of MAGA and Trump voters, I'd say probably 10% or more, that want him impeached now, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling. And I'm not going to play this because, it's just, Democrats flapping their gums. But watch out, folks. The Democrats know this. The Democrats are sharks right now, and they see chum in the water. And you have J.B. Pritzker coming out. He might want to run for president again. And J.B. Pritzker came out and said he wants to start, I believe he called it Project 2029, and he's basically promising voters he's going to arrest the entire Trump administration. Folks, there will be an appetite for that. Okay? Like, this isn't 2020. This isn't 2024. This is 2026, 2028. There will be an appetite for the Democrats to run on impeaching Trump. There will be an appetite for the Democrats to run on arresting Trump. That hasn't happened. That hasn't existed. That's not been a real appetite other than the radical left. There will be a significant appetite, a very real appetite for that in the next 2 election cycles. Now, I'm not saying it's enough to win an election, but I'm saying it's enough to make it a mainstream message and be reverberated. Next caller, what's your name? Where you from?
Wow, Owen, it is an honor to speak to you. Calling in, I finally got in on this great show. But I think we all know this is President Donald Trump speaking, and I'm calling in to rate my own administration. And before we get to that, let me turn the helicopter engine down a little bit. Let me speak to the pilot.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Let me tell you about Mark Levin. He serenades me to sleep every Sunday night on Fox News. He is the great one, they say. If I was going to rate this administration, I would give it a 5 gold stars and 1 lollipop for all the suckers that voted for me. But I'll drop it. But, it's a fucking F across the board. Where they could let us down, they did. It's an F. Am I MAGA? Hell no. I would say conservative values, of course, the Second Amendment, freedom of speech, but identifying with Ben Shapiro, the current MAGA movement. No, it's embarrassing to say that I voted for Trump 3 times. It's an absolute embarrassment, this whole administration, whether it's because he cut deals or he's being blackmailed. It's so obvious he's bought and paid for by Israel, and everyone just goes along with it. He picked a bunch of yes men for his cabinet, and I guess we get what we voted for, but it just makes us all look like fools. Appreciate the you be able to take the call.
Thank you. Well, and I wonder, I've said this so many times, it's just still true. It's so bad. Honestly, Trump is so bad now. I can't even believe it. I can't believe it. I mean, I sit here, I do the news every day. I do political play-by-play. That's what I do. I can't believe it. That's why I come on air sometimes and I'm like, what are the odds that Trump is this bad, that Trump betrayed us to this degree? I mean, it's total betrayal. He's a total fraud politically now. It's like, really? This is how bad it is? Or you go and like, oh, okay, maybe Q's real. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, this is how bad it is. Honestly, Q being real is like your only hope at this point. And I wonder if did the left ever feel this way about Biden? I guess they did in the final months because they booted him and nominated Kamala. But it was like, when did the left realize that the Biden stolen election was such a disaster? Was it the first fall down the steps? Was it the second fall down the steps? Was it the video in Philadelphia where he's speaking and he looks like a damn demon? Was it the third fall, the fourth fall, the fifth fall, the bike fall? Was it the how much you know, it's like when did the Democrats realize Biden was an absolute disaster? Because we got it now. I mean, Trump's our disaster now. So we got to own that. Next caller, what's your name, where you're from? Yep, go ahead.
This is Matt from Virginia.
All right, Matt, thoughts
I'm
on
gonna
Trump?
Say F.
Okay.
I was never MAGA, and the Iran war is a disaster. But I don't believe it's a disaster for any of the reasons that anyone says. I think it's already been decided, brother. I think that this is just further the depopulation. Nobody knows what's going on because there's a blackout. That's what they tell us. But even if we did know what was going on, does it matter? They just tell you that 20% of Qatar, gas is done. 60% of this field is blown up. Who the fuck could know that? Nobody could know that. There's no one on planet Earth that could know that. They just tell you. It's just like when they started telling you we're 36 trillion in debt. Do you remember us ever being 26 trillion in debt? Nope, because they didn't say it. They just started, and they just keep saying things because the plan is, as you already know, when you always say nobody wants to, like when somebody drills down on something really specific, you say the 1% of the 1% don't think like that, and you wouldn't have a show or whatever. I'm the 1% of the 1% with you. I woke a long time ago. I'm way older than you, not quite a boomer, but I figured out I'm a finance guy, and I figured it out that way. And then I started to realize, fuck, it's all fake, but everybody just called me crazy. So I've been crazy for a long fucking time, And now that I see everybody else waking up or whatever, it's over. There's nothing you can do. My greatest fear now is actually just nihilism, because once that takes hold of a country, of a population, it's over. $5 gas won't matter. $10 gas won't matter. I mean, you just walk up to try to get a drink at Panera and somebody just shank you. It'll just be like, basically, we'll just be in a prison, just an open air prison, which we kind of are now, and we always were, really. But they just did a better job of the scenery. That's all. So
Well,
I really appreciate you taking the call, and really what I appreciate you doing is not selling out, because I know it'd be safer and more profitable. But I do appreciate you there, and I don't want to see you go dark, brother. I really don't, because I've gone dark, and I don't want to see that happen to you. I root for people to stay positive, but I don't.
Let me respond to that real quick. It's funny that you say that, because somebody brought that up to me the other day, and look, that's why I've done this long enough that I know when it's time to just like pump the brakes or just say, hey, we're going to change the mood today, whatever. I haven't gone completely off the rails and decided to do like a sports show or anything like that. But no, somebody said something similar to me about that, and my response was, look, I'm too deep in it now. I can't get out now. There's no escape for me now. The only escape is forward. There is nowhere else to go but forward for me now. So I don't anticipate I'm going dark anytime. If a missile blows up my house, we can all laugh and say it was Iran and have a good time. I'll see you on the other side. But I appreciate that, and I never will sell out. I can guarantee you that. It's not even possible. You know what? If I sold out, I'd call myself out on the air. I'd be like, guys, I did it. I sold you out. But I can't even do it. All I know how to do is just tell the truth and just call it as I see it. That's why it's political play-by-play. That's what we do here. We try to have a little fun if we can. I mean, is that so wrong? All right, next caller. Maybe one more caller for this hour, and we'll see what we want to do in the final hour. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Yeah, it's Willie San Diego. I give him a D. The only thing saving the F is the border and pardoning some of the J6ers. And I'm not MAGA. Republicans allowed that acronym to be trampled years ago. But more importantly here, Christian Zionism is totally an oxymoron. So let's call this conflict with Iran God's chosen war. It's a Judeo-Christian battle, and it's being portrayed as God's plan for Armageddon and the return of Jesus, and or the return of the Antichrist, your choice. Troops all over the Middle East are reporting their commanders are telling the soldiers to fear not, as this is a godly war, not fighting to defend Americans, but for the return of Jesus and trumps the biblically anointed one. And it's also interesting that Pete Hegseth's tattoos are a Jerusalem cross, God's will, and infidel, as it seems like he's a crusader from the 12th century, and this whole religious schematic has become very dangerous. And then you got Milikowski saying, things like Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan, because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good.
That was crazy, that Netanyahu's definitely not AI speech. That was crazy. I don't know. The whole AI thing is weird. There's definitely weird stuff, I will say. I don't know what's going on. Who really knows? I'm not convinced of anything. But the fact that he said that at this time, at this juncture, is unreal. He insulted Christianity. He basically said there's no point in being a good person. I mean, it's just like, what in the hell is going on? And you wonder how much of this is driven by some sort of a radical theology. Because now you get to this point, it's like, okay, well, what are my formulas for measuring things? It's like you have to kind of have that when you're doing political analysis. It's like if you're doing a math problem, it's like, well, what is the formula to solve this problem? It's getting to a point where the formula now is whatever they say about Iran is true about Israel. Oh, radical Islam, radical religious lunatics in power. That feels like Netanyahu. That feels like the people in Israel right now, not Iran. And so it's just like, is that the formula that we have to go with now?
Yeah, it's crazy. Owen, we need a brand new working definition. I mean, they're moving the goalposts all the time. They control the speech. We need a new working definition of Zionism. You know, if it's going to be illegal to use that verbiage, we need a brand new word to describe what has been noticed but outlawed, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's what they're trying to do, and it's going to backfire, but maybe they already have the plan. Maybe they already know they're going to nuke. I wonder what's going to happen, because it looks like troops on the ground this weekend, guys. CBS has a story that just broke, and it looks like troops on the ground. I mean, that's what it looks like. It's like they're saying everything except troops on the ground. I mean, it's amphibious units, it's 82nd Airborne, it's ground invasion stuff. So CBS is reporting all the ground invasion stuff is moving into Iran right now. They're just not saying a ground invasion is happening. And it's like, again, I already hear the voices responding. Like, Iran killed protesters. Iran did this. Iran did that. Okay, why are you telling me about Iran? Why do you want me thinking about Iran? Our government kills protesters. Our government puts people in prison for speech. How many countries has Iran bombed? I guess that number is increasing if you believe the narrative. But Israel's bombed more countries than Iran. Israel's killed hundreds of thousands of people. Do these stats just not count? Why not? Why don't these stats count? It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's take our final break. Here. Maybe we'll hit some of these news stories, take some more calls, get into the super chats. Final hour of the Owen Report coming up next.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
So you might want to take a coffee break. You might want to go grab a cup of coffee. The official coffee of the Owen Report, of course, Blackout Coffee. In fact, I'm getting behind on my order here, guys. I have to admit, I'm about to run out of the single-serve pods. I actually have a lot of their the bags of their coffee, but you know, making the whole pot of coffee sometimes you just don't need to do it. So it's nice though; those bags last a long time. The freshness keeps a long time in Blackout Coffee, the light roast, medium roast, and dark roast. But I've been really into the single-serve pods lately. I haven't made my order yet. Maybe we'll finally make it. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at this now. Chocolate cherry? Do I need to try the chocolate cherry? I was leaning blueberry crumble. Now I'm seeing chocolate cherry on here. I don't know. I've got to make my decision. I might make the decision this weekend. Over 30 flavors of the single-serve pods at blackoutcoffee.com. It really is my favorite coffee. It's incredible. It's the official coffee of the Owen Report. Folks, if you have not tried Blackout Coffee yet, when you go to blackoutcoffee.com/Owen and when you use coupon code Owen at checkout, you can get 20% off your first order. So give them a try. Blackoutcoffee.com/Owen, coupon code Owen at checkout. That is 20% off your first order. Folks, take advantage of it. Take advantage of 20% off your first order at blackoutcoffee.com/Owen with coupon code Owen.
back to the show with your favorite talk show host, Tits McGee.
All right, guys, third and final hour of today's show. Do we want to do the news or do we want to continue to take calls? I'll tell you what. We can obviously do both. Let me pile drive through this news. And by the way, you saw the headline on Drudge Report. That was the CBS story that just broke that I was talking about. Pentagon preps for ground invasion. Looks like it's happening this weekend. So, what will the fallout for that be? And look, the truth is, to put it simply, forget about the opinions. Forget about the opinions about the war or any of that. The truth is, boots on the ground invasion of Iran is the sign. It's them admitting, however you want to put it. That's the moment of truth that they lied. That they lied. That's the moment that they lied about everything. We'll see. We'll see. So let's just cover the rest of this news. We'll go back to calls, and then we will hit the super chats as we always do. Now, I said this earlier. You know what, guys? I'm just going to pile drive. Holy sites are being hit now. Holy sites are now being hit. And Israel has closed the most important Christian site, perhaps in the world, the Holy Sepulchre. Israel has closed that ahead of Easter. Israel's not letting Christians worship. Now they're doing the same thing at Al-Aqsa Mosque. Israel has closed maybe the number one spot for Palestinian Muslims to pray at. Israel has now closed that too. So Israel is now denying religious rights and access to Muslims and Christians. So that's a little telling. Netanyahu wants oil and gas to flow through Israel post-Iran war. So that's what this is about. This is about building a canal through Israel. This is about building a gas pipeline through Israel and giving Israel dominance in the Middle East. That's what this whole thing is about. That's what Americans are going to die for again. That's what we're going to spill our blood and treasure in the Middle East for again. And I'm just sick of it. All right, I'm going to skip these Trump clips. We had some Trump clips yesterday. He was speaking in front of, I guess these were West Point graduates or something. I don't know what the situation here exactly. But anyway, he was speaking in front of a bunch of young men here, or maybe in the Naval Academy. And the whole thing is just ridiculous, just filled with propaganda, filled with lies. And what's crazy is every time he goes to the podium, he does this now. It's like it doesn't even matter. Navy football. It doesn't even matter what the background is. It doesn't matter what the moment is, anything. He just goes, and every time he gets with a microphone, he just spews the exact same Iran war propaganda. It's so obnoxious. And now he's apparently having ICE detain people based off of special requests from friends. This one's crazy. Trump friend asked ICE to detain the mother of his child. Paolo Zampoli, a former modeling agent and a longtime Trump ally, was in a custody battle over his son. So Trump was requested to send an ICE official over to help get the mother out of the equation. And apparently they did it. Last June, the man credited with introducing Trump to Melania. Let's not even go down that rabbit hole. Asked the administration for a favor. Paolo Zampoli, a former modeling agent turned presidential special envoy, good God, had learned that his Brazilian ex-girlfriend was in a Miami jail, arrested on charges of fraud at her workplace. They had been in a custody battle over their teenage son, and he saw the opportunity, and he had Trump boot her. It's just, guys, I don't even want to say it. It hurts so much. It honestly, it hurts so much. But my job is political play-by-play. I think this is the most corrupt president we've ever seen. I think this is the most corrupt administration and the most corrupt president we've ever seen. And I can't believe it. It hurts me so much. And I wonder how much of it too, it's like, was it always going to be this way? Or after he saw how corrupt Biden was, he just said, oh, well, if Biden's that corrupt, screw it. I'll just be that corrupt. If I can't drain the swamp, then I'll just become the swamp king. It is so bad, man. It's just, it's. He might be the most corrupt president ever. I can't believe I'm here saying it. But I just call the plays on the field. That's what it is. But hey, don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We're on top of it. Because the entire administration, Pam Bondi, Janine Pirro, Harmeet Dillon, Caroline Levitt, and every single one of their paid assets on X are all letting you know that Harvard has been sued by the Trump administration because of anti-Semitism. Isn't that nice? I'm not even going to say it. We all know it. It's just, they can discriminate against every other group they want, but now they're sued over anti-Semitism. So it just sucks to be in this position, It sucks to be in this position because they're just setting you up to be an anti-Semite. It's like the whole thing is a setup. It's like they show you that Israel runs your government. They show you that Israel runs your foreign policy. They show you that American blood and treasure gets sacrificed for Israel. They sign laws and legislation making it illegal to do anything negative towards Israel or Jews. Like, they do all of that in front of your face. And then you just kind of step up and say, hey, wait, I don't like that. You're an anti-Semite. It's like, So that's where we're at. Is this the 7K Club? What do we have here? You may have seen this. All of these individuals posting the same thing. Well, and we've all know that these guys have all been pro-Israel. Anti-Semites are turning me into a Zionist. Their low IQ energy is too much for anyone intelligent to handle. So you have Ian Miles Chong, Will Chamberlain, Captive Dreamer, Sam. And they're all posting the same thing. And then it says paid partnership under their deals. I think it did under Ian's too. I don't know. I'd have to get an update on this because you have to go change it. So who's paying them? Why? What is this a paid partnership for? Who's paying these accounts to promote Zionism and share this exact same message? So, okay, you've just been caught. Are you foreign agents? Are you foreign agents? Who's paying you? What is this partnership that you're promoting Zionism? What is that? Whose paid partnership is that? I mean, we all knew it was going on, but now they have new policies on X, and that's why they have to put this up there. So who's paying you guys? And if you aren't sharing it's a paid partnership, is that illegal now? That's a pretty revealing moment. More jobs losses. It's a disaster out there. It's a feeding frenzy. Hundreds of thousands of jobs lost in Trump's administration. Now, another 11,000 cut from Dell, Dell, who's working closely with the administration. All right, let me get to the Japan stuff here because you're not going to hear or see this anywhere else. So Japan is at the White House yesterday. Now, there's a couple angles to this. Japan at the White House, the prime minister at the White House, Takachi. Now, she got in, a populist, a nationalist, highly popular, and then the Israeli lobby got to her. And then she opened the borders. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And she broke some other campaign promises. But she wasn't fully in bed with them. She was just kind of going along with the messaging and thinking it was the good thing. But now she's paying the price. Approval rating for Takashi cabinet drops to 59%. So it was one of the highest approved cabinets. It was in the high 60s, and then they started opening the border, and working with the Israeli lobby, and now it's going down, including Takashi herself. Takashi cabinet approval drops over 20 points as crises and controversies mount. So now, because of this situation in the Strait of Hormuz, Japan is in an interesting situation. They're obviously close to the Trump administration. They're close to Netanyahu. The Israeli lobby is trying to get into Asia. They're trying to get into the different Asian countries because they know their popularity in America. So the blood and treasure that we've sacrificed for Israel, they know that time's coming to an end. So Israel's looking to get into Asian blood and treasure. So Japan is kind of there. And now that relationship, Japan is looking at an energy crisis and a cost of living crisis. So she comes to the White House to try to figure it all out. And you know who was there? Do you know who had dinner with the Japanese Prime Minister last night? Miriam Adelson. Miriam Adelson. Wow. I don't want to get too much deep into this today for the sake of time, but I mean, I think you see what's happening here. I think it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Wow. Also, Alex Karp was there last night from Palantir, and that probably is because of this. They posted this last night. We covered the bill yesterday. President Donald J. Trump unveils national AI legislative framework. So you got the Senate about to pass the AI bill. You've got Trump looking at AI legislation. This is all going to bring in the AI surveillance state government. It's a total disaster. It's Skynet. It's absolute misery. And he has Alex Karp up there with Palantir last night, and I'm sure that they were discussing this. So they're going to shove AI down our throat as this is all going on. Now, Bernie Sanders is kind of posturing himself against AI. He did this video last night where he talked to an AI agent. I was going to play it. I'm not going to for the sake of time today. And I wonder what AI is going to do in the midterms. I wonder. And by the way, I'll just say this and we'll move on. We'll maybe take a couple other calls. But you know, what Trump has done to Jair Bolsonaro, I think is like the ultimate character assessment for me with Trump. Bolsonaro is not having a good time in Brazil. They arrested him. They put him in prison. Now he's basically dying. His family is out here talking about how brutal it is right now. Trump's going to let Bolsonaro die in prison. I just, political issues, political differences, political letdowns, betrayals, all of this stuff. Okay. Trump letting Bolsonaro die quietly in prison is an absolute piece of shit move. Donald Trump is a piece of shit. If he lets Bolsonaro die in prison in silence, Donald Trump is an absolute piece of shit. After everything Bolsonaro did, after everything Bolsonaro went through, after their parallel journeys to try to save their countries, and now Trump took the deal to stay out of jail. Bolsonaro didn't because he's a true Brazilian patriot. And now Trump is going to let Bolsonaro die in prison in silence. If Donald Trump does not come out and at least say something about Bolsonaro to get him out of jail, at least say something. I'd rather send the military to Brazil. I'd rather send the military to Brazil than Venezuela. I'd rather send the military to Brazil than to Iran in the Middle East again. I'd rather go free Bolsonaro than anything else. I'd rather try to free Brazil from the communists than any of it. But it's like, okay, if you're not going to get involved, you're not going to get involved. But he's getting involved everywhere. And then he's going to let Bolsonaro die in silence in prison. That is an absolute scumbag piece of trash move. Trump has loyalty to no man. Trump has loyalty to no man except himself and his ego and anyone who's willing to polish his turds. And I'm disgusted That is the most disgusting thing that Trump is letting Bolsonaro die in prison silently. What a monster of a man who just turned. It's like when Charlie Kirk died and he goes, yeah, but look at my barroom. This guy turned out to be an absolute piece of garbage. An orange turd. I can't believe it, man. Hey, Trump, turn it all around. Prove us all wrong, Trump. Prove me wrong, Trump. Make me look like an idiot, Trump. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you to make me look stupid and to turn this thing around and save Bolsonaro and save the country and not sell us all out and get us into a war in the Middle East. I'm begging you to prove me wrong, Trump. I'm begging Trump to prove me wrong that he's not the most selfish, egotistical, narcissist, lying president we've ever had in the history of this country. I am begging him. I've never wanted to be wrong more in my life. But that's not what I'm seeing. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I apologize. And the Bolsonaro family is still active in Brazil, by the way. They're still active in Brazilian politics. His daughter, his son. Great family, great people trying to help Brazil, and he just abandons them all. Fabiano Bolsonaro. I mean, it's just unbelievable. All right. All right. Let's forget the rest of the news. Let's take a couple more phone calls. We got time for a couple more phone calls, and then we will hit our super chats before we sign off for the week. Sorry for my French there, but I just call it as I see it. That's how I felt in the moment. All right. Back to the calls. Remember, the question is the number 747-200-5560. The question is your thoughts on Trump, MAGA, and the war in Iran. We will take a couple more here before we get to the super chat. So next, what's your name? Where are you from? Next caller, what's your
Hello?
name? Yes, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, Owen, it's Justine. I'm calling from Boston. How are you?
All right, Justine. Well, I was doing good. Get me back on the good track. Actually, you know what? Forget about me. Just tell me what you think about Trump, MAGA, and the Iran war.
So I'll tell you this. Actually, I'm cousins with Ashley Babbitt, who died on January 6th. And I'm really pissed off at Trump. It's like I lost a relative, over at the Capitol on January 6th fighting for Trump. He's an absolute sellout. He gets an F in my book as far as his presidency. MAGA's dead. I'm embarrassed by the people who have forfeited their critical thinking skills and are still supporting him.
I'm guessing you're not a big fan of the war in Iran either.
I'm sorry?
I'm guessing you're not a big fan of the war in Iran.
No, I'm not. My brother fought in Tel Afar. He was a combat sniper for the Army back in 2005. Did 2 years over in Tel Afar. Lost a bunch of his buddies. Now he works for Homeland Security. Hasn't gotten a paycheck in, I don't know, almost a month now. And Trump's just an absolute sellout. Absolute disgrace.
So you mentioned you're related to Ashley Babbitt. I'm sure most of my audience knows who Ashley Babbitt is, but in case not, Ashley Babbitt was there on January 6th. She got shot by Officer Byrd, shot and killed. And ultimately, Officer Byrd, who had a history of incidents, we'll say it like that, a history of incidents, ultimately he walked. He was not found guilty of anything, even though that was clearly an unwarranted kill shot, and Ashley was unarmed in all the chaos that day. And so no justice for Ashley, and really no justice for any of the January Sixers. The pardon was good, and he had to do that, so that's good. But what about the criminals that stole the election? What about the criminals that set us up on January 6th? What about the criminals that set up Ashley Babbitt and other Trump supporters to die? And Trump has totally abandoned all of that. How do you know? And I'm not asking you to speak out of line here, but do you know how Ashley's family currently feels about all of this?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was just at my cousin's house the other day. My cousin Aaron, he was married to Ashley, and Ashley was a diehard patriot. That girl served 14 years in the military, right? And, you know, my cousin was suing the government for 30 million, and, there's talk that Trump called and said, give him 5 and just get this over with. And that's what my cousin got.
Well,
And
I also, there was other issues with January 6 groups that were looking for justice from this administration, and essentially they all got stonewalled.
yeah, and I wouldn't doubt it if Trump was behind it. I just think we've been played. We've been so played. I'm shocked. It's almost like finding out your spouse has another family in a different part of the country. It's unbelievable. I didn't vote for him in 2020. I voted in 2016 and 2024, and I really had faith in this guy, and I just can't believe that this is what we're witnessing right now. And like I said, my cousin was he was military. He was in the Marines. Ashley was in the Air Force. My brother served in Telefar in 2005, combat sniper. And these guys, they don't care about anybody. We're literally being ruled by a satanic, self-serving mafia. They're either raping and killing kids, or they're skimming from the till. I don't understand how we have $39 trillion worth of debt in this country, and all I've watched, I'm 45 years old, and all I've watched since 2001 is the decline of my country.
And something's got to give. Something's got to give, because there is a high enough percentage of Americans that agree with what you have said, as crazy as it might sound to some. They are completely convinced and in agreement with what you've said, and it's a high enough percentage now that it's able to be a force multiplier and have an influence in the political discussion. And that's why we see this crash out. That's why we see this crash out within whatever's left of MAGA. That's why we see this absolute disgust over the cover-up of the Epstein files with no arrests. And then we just look back on everything we went through with Trump. And about your analogy, which I think is so perfect, it's not only that we found out he has a second family. We find out we're the second family. Like, we find out we're the extra family. And it's like he takes off the mustache and the wig and the glasses and said, sorry, I've been lying to you. My real name is this. My real family's over here. And by the way, I'm actually done with you. Bye.
Yeah, it's astounding. I've never seen anything like it. I've been voting since I was 18 years old. I've always voted Republican. I live in a super liberal state in Massachusetts, but I was raised by Republicans, and I love my country. And I just can't believe, I've been laid off for a while. I went down the Israeli thing a year and a half, and it's just wild what is going on with our country. And the boomers, they sold us out, and they're sitting on $85 trillion worth of assets right now, and we're the young American people are struggling right now, and we're really divided. A lot of people are out of touch.
Yep. All right, Justine, thank you for that call.
Hey, thanks, Owen.
These are great calls. I almost don't want to shut down the phone lines. Let's take another one here. Next caller, what's your name? Where you're from?
Hey, it's Ty Sites.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Ty?
Oh, Ty.
Yeah, Ty Sites.
All right, go ahead. Thoughts on Trump, MAGA, and Iran war?
Let me turn on this volume real quick. On Trump, geez, man, I'm kind of like you. I just want Q to be real at this point. I don't really know.
It's our only
what
hope.
to make.
It's our only hope.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's fucking wild. Sorry for cursing. I honestly just don't know what to make of it. When it comes to the war, it's just like, is this like taking apart the whole British financial system? I don't know if you pay attention to Promethean Action, but they talk about all this, like taking down the British Empire through the Iranian financial system. And I just don't even know what to make of it, because I've never heard of it before.
You know what? Here's
and
what
now we
I'll
have like
say.
different
Let
characters talking about it.
me just comment on that. We're getting a little off track here. Let me just say, I see all of that stuff, and it's not like, it's kind of like Q level stuff. It's not the same stuff, but it's like, It's like kind of these other conspiracy worlds where people are like, like trying to decipher hieroglyphs or something. And it's like they think they found this string attached to this, and if you pull this, and then this collapses, and then it's the domino effect. It's like the Rune Goldberg machine, whatever. I've been seeing this stuff for like 10 years, and none of it has ever manifested to anything. Not once have any of those types of ideas or conspiracies manifested to anything. So I don't really invest in that stuff. It's not to say that I blame people for going down that road because the world is so crazy and you try to make sense of it. You go down these rabbit holes. But it always ends up being when you go through stuff like that and everybody finds their own rabbit hole, their own niche. I've never seen any of it equate to anything. I've never seen any of it equate to anything. The only thing at this point, at this juncture, the only thing that has manifested into reality as far as that world of like weird niche, way out there conspiracies is Israel, greater Israel, and rebuilding the temple. That's the only one that has been like the wild-eyed conspiracy stuff that now is actually manifesting. Nothing else has. So we're just sitting here watching it happen. Thank you for the call. I just want to just grind through a couple callers here before we get to the super chats. Let's take another one. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
TK from Hawaii.
All right. Thoughts on Trump, MAGA, Iran war?
Hell yeah, I got it. Yes. Okay. Well, here's it go, man. Let's see. Trump, grade F. FR for this is freaking retarded. The dude is crazy, man. MAGA's trans. That's what MAGA is right now. Because it used to be straight, and now I don't know what the hell they turned into somebody totally different from what they was. So MAGA's trans. And
yeah, MAGA likes censorship and political arrests now. So there you go.
Exactly.
And war. What else? They're going to like vaccines next? Who knows?
I think they already do, man. To tell you the truth, I think they already do.
Maybe.
So, war in Iran, bro, I think it's going to end in a lot of death, and I kind of believe it's unwinnable. From our perspective, I don't see us. We stretch too thin, man. You know what I mean? It's we have all our troops in like all these different bases all over the place, and man, they just waiting on us to come on over there and do something, So that's what I think about the three. F for him, MAGA's trans, and the war is unwinnable from my perspective. And I don't know much, man. I'm just a black dude living in Hawaii. And when I say that this is, it's kind of messed up because I didn't watch Trump have the biggest fall from grace that I've ever seen. He pretty much had it all. He had the young vote, he had the Latino vote, he had everybody's vote. He even had the black vote now. And it's crazy because I was wearing a MAGA hat, but I had a MAGA beanie. You know what I mean? I was too cool for the MAGA cap, so I went out and got me a Scully. You know what I mean? So I was rocking the MAGA beanie. So yeah, man, he had it all.
Huh? Not anymore.
Yeah, so he but not anymore. No, not anymore. No, I'm not gonna throw it away though. I might sell it to somebody who might want it. You know what I mean? So I got to get some money out of it. Kind of rough.
Yeah, that's true. You might be able to get like a gallon of gas.
Maybe so. You know what, man? But I've been thinking about this. And can I ask you a question real quick? You remember when Novar Harari, he was saying that everybody's hackable or hackable animals or some crap like that? Man, do you think when they go over to Israel that they just touch the wall and get hacked somehow with all this stuff that they've been sprayed on us and these injections and all this other weird crap, man? It's weird because people are going.
Well, they definitely get hacked. I don't think it's from touching the wall, but I think that's the that's the initiation. That's the public initiation of that they've been hacked, whether that's blackmail, bought out, whatever, tricked, deceived. But yeah, that's like the ultimate thing is they all go touch the wall. That shows that they've been hacked. I don't think that's the Yuval Harari thing. But, you bring that up, and I thank you for the call. You bring that up, and now I can't help but think about those vaccines again. Could we actually be living in that age? Could they have, Trump claims he got the vaccine. Could that be what this is? I'm wild-eyed at the end of the show. We're going to take one more call. I'm going to go to the super chats. Wild-eyed at the end of the show. Could that be what's going on? Are all of these people, did these people get hit with the COVID vaccine that had the whatever in it that people apparently said was making them magnetic, making them a Wi-Fi signal? It's like, obviously it wasn't every single vaccine. Wild-eyed. We're getting crazy here at the end of a show on a Friday. We're getting wild. But I'm just trying to make sense of it. Like, what happened to all of these MAGA people that used to be principled and now just seem to be brainwashed zombie slaves? What happened? Is it the vaccine? Did they get hacked with a vaccine? Was there something in there? You know, that's an interesting angle. That's an interesting angle, actually, because forget about whether you think there's nanobots in these vaccines that got into these people's brains and now they're literally hackable characters. Forget about going that crazy. Forget about going that far down the road. I would like to see, I think this is actually a very telling pull. This would be a very telling sample here. I'd like to see, if you look at MAGA, or what was once MAGA, and who's still MAGA and who's not, I'd like to see the percentages of vaccinated people. I'd like to see the percentage of former MAGA and current MAGA vaccine rates. I bet you current MAGA has a very high vaccine rate. I bet you former MAGA has a very low vaccine rate. I would be very confident that that's a measurable right there. All right, last call. Last call. What's your name? Where are you from?
Yo, Owen, Jordan from Alabama. Obey, buddy.
All right, Jordan, thoughts, Trump, MAGA, war. Go ahead.
All right, Trump, man, biggest disappointment. Voted for him 3 times, just like everybody else watching the show and calling in. Super upsetting. I don't even know what to think about it. I think Israel has Barron Trump in their basement. I don't know what's going on because I don't know how else to explain it. The Mark Levin, the Ben Shapiro, it is absolutely insane. And a previous caller, one of your first callers about the boomers, man, we can't even talk them out of it. They are so brainwashed. You can't talk them out of it. We're going to have to think into the future, take action. The war in Iran, it's going to get so many Americans killed. I am so worried about it. And I feel like I know a lot of military people, veteran here. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this.
I wonder.
I going through with it.
I wonder. I genuinely wonder what. I've never been in the military. You would have a better idea. I mean, if you have, let's say, your unit, whatever, your entire base, the majority of them don't like the war or don't like Trump. Does that even matter? I mean, does that really affect anything?
Oh, yes, 100%. All the troops are talking to each other right now. Especially, I'm older now. I'm 36. I was in the military from 18 to 24. When those young kids, they're talking to each other. They're watching shows like yours. They're watching Tucker. They're watching all these shows that are in the top 5.
I remember this would have been like 2018. I think it was about 2018. Maybe it was 2016, actually. It might have been earlier than that. When I was at InfoWars, they were blocking people in the military from accessing InfoWars. They made the websites unavailable if you were on a military base or if you were on any government equipment, phone, whatever, internet. Then you weren't able to access InfoWars. So I don't know if that is something that they still do or if that would come into play here. Because I wonder, because I'm sitting here saying, you know, Joe Kent is like the guy probably right now. I would imagine for young military guys that are, you know, looking at, let's say, public political figures with a military background, I would guess Joe Kent is the guy they look at and resonate with and think, that's my guy. Do you think that is happening? Do you think they know about what happened with Joe? Do you think they're getting this information?
Owen, 100%, you are correct. The top brass, they are trying to black out anyone in the military. They're trying to black out all the media, like your shows, InfoWars, anything Joe Kent is saying, Twitter, X, all that. You don't understand, though. These kids these days, they're so technical advanced. They're watching it. They have VPNs. They have all these things. They're getting the information.
Yeah.
They're not sitting there back in 2016 where you didn't even really know. No one knew what a VPN was back then. You know what I mean? I mean, if you were like really into technology, you did. But now everybody knows. Everybody's on X. Everybody's getting into Starlink. They're all seeing this. Everybody knows. That's why they're shoving shit down into the toilets on the USS Abraham.
Yeah.
They know what's going on.
Yeah, and then there was a fire on the USS Ford, too. I mean,
And
you
those
know.
were the cooks in the kitchen. You think that, a grease fire? You think a grease fire just started randomly? No, they know what's happening. Morale, nobody wants this war. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
Those kids do not want to die for Israel. Anybody
I
under
wonder,
30 does not want to die.
I wonder when this rubber is going to meet the road. I think there's an inevitable reckoning on this situation, and I appreciate your call. Thank you. I think there's an inevitable reckoning on this situation. I really do. And obviously the level of communication is going to be sketchy for obvious reasons. But it's so obvious. We can all feel it. We can all see it. It's so heavy. And the more that they ignore it and try to pretend it's not happening, actually the worse it gets. Really. Good last caller there. Good last caller. So there you have it. I don't know. What did we take? 15 calls or something? And only one of them is still supportive of Trump and MAGA. So take from that what you want. Multiple military members, all different backgrounds, demographics, age groups. Pretty good sample size today. Good job, guys. Thank you. Thank you for that. Really appreciate that. All right. Okay. Let me turn this off here. Let me shut this down, and we're going to go into the super chats. All right. Great calls. Thank you, everybody, for participating today. That was a nice change of pace for us all, I think. Into the super chats we go. Tay-Tay. Rip Chuck Norris, the OG 7K Club. Don't do that for us. I know BB made it all about him as soon as Chuck passed, but let's not go down that road. Let's just admire Chuck Norris for an American hero. Let's leave it at that. Owen Schroyer's wifey. I used to be a silver girly until I started watching the Owen Report. Now I'm a gold girly. Maybe we need to do like. I'm glad I have that influence over you, and I should. You know, we do have. I was gonna plug the store at the end of the show. The shirt I'm wearing today, you can get at owenschroyer.store. We do have female apparel. I think I need to do something special for all the ladies that call in the super chat. Maybe do something for you gals in the apparel section, because I just do. I do female shirts, but it's just the normal shirts that I put up. Maybe we need a special shirt for the girlies out there. Just to let you know we care. Woofy, what's the call-in number? Well, it was 747-255-60. You should wear the Zio hat every Friday. Well, that's not the Zio hat. The hat I have isn't the Zio hat. That's the Orthodox hat, which is a very clean look. I mean, that hat is powerful. Henry of Skalitz. I just got a Cove Pure, and your promo code gave $250 off. Not $200. Can't wait to use it. Well, we got to get that figured out. Bonus for you using coupon code Owen, getting an extra bonus. I guess my ad sheet is off. Let's just put that away. Thank you. Everyone loves the Cove Pure water filtration system. It's true. Today is Brianna's last day on InfoWars. My family came to the United States from Argentina. I don't ask questions. Brianna Morello, November 4th, 2025. Her last day, huh? Well, it was a short-lived experience. Dust Vault, we've always been at war with Iran and Eurasia. Panicking. Silly me. Gregory Wright, Donald Trump is a great president. Shut up, Owen. I can't tell what's sarcasm anymore. F the whole F government. F the gov. Right on. DZ, heard Hillary would not be able to roll out of vaccines as fast as Trump did. Heard Israel wouldn't work as easy with Kamala. New World Order picked their right guy. Well, it's looking that way. Cat, my target. Guess the swamp is draining America. Yeah. And Trump's the swamp king. Serious question. Does Benny run Grinder? You'll have to ask Milo that. Latina, 27 years old, surprised me with wearing her blue Lulus. I have no idea what that means. I hope I didn't just say something crazy. Dark despair. Trump gets a D. MAGA is on life support, and the war in Iran is complete BS. Only reason I give Trump a D instead of an F is because it's still early in his term. The rest is self-explanatory. I think that's fair. I think I would say D2. He did do the pardons. He did shut down the border, and there is time left. So I'm with you on that. But the people that give him an F, yeah, I have no problem with that either. Perhaps White House can put out the Newspeak manual. Oh, they will. Don't worry. They will. Captain Hart, U.S. intel was that Iran was not a threat, and nothing we do will cause regime change. Israel intel was very optimistic. Military action will cause a change. He decided to go with Israel intel over ours. Well, he decided, or somebody else decided, but ultimately the result is the same. Jeffrey Knox, these people who are mad at people that left MAGA, or maggot, I like to call it, love children and don't want someone in there that don't love young children. Let's work on our grammar. Let's work on our messaging skills there. I'm not sure. I think I get the message, but it's a little clunky there. Trump is spreading fake news. He said it was about nukes. He said we are winning. He said we didn't blow up the school. By his own rule, is he treasonous? Well, by his own words, he should be impeached. Honor the truth. IDF, Israeli Destruction Forces. Yeah, military demolitions all over. Expose 305. Love Troy never gets old. What we got this weekend? Okay, movie for the weekend. All right, I hadn't thought about it. You got me in a pinch. You got me in a pinch here. All right, here's one. I'll give you two for an option because this popped up on my feed the other day. We'll go with a couple comedy options for you this weekend. Maybe you need a good laugh this weekend. One of them is even a little timely, actually. Team America from the creators of South Park. Team America, that's an all-timer. That one is timely. And then also from the creators of South Park, Basketball. So we'll give you two funny movies for this weekend, Basketball and Team America. I think Team America is the one, though. It's very on point for this weekend. There you go. If you've never seen those movies, must see. Guaranteed laugh. Be careful. I saw 2 videos in Texas of police coming to someone's house about what they said was Israel. What is this crazy world that's allowed? I did see that too. I don't know. Who knows? People stage stuff. I've not heard of that personally outside of the same videos, I'm sure, but I will certainly let you know if that happens here. The lamp slain from the foundation of the world. Revelation 13:8. Jesus lives outside Abraham, David, and Moses. Believe in his coming, eternal God. Seems like they're trying to force it. Michael, this show needs a heavy metal intro like the War Room had. Yes, I'm not allowed to play music here. I don't want to get into that now. I've explained it before. Maybe they can explain in the chat if you're still here, but I'm not allowed to play music. That's why we do the old video game music, as we don't get the censorship issues. Can you blow up nuclear resources without causing mass damage? It depends on the nuclear sources. Some the answer is yes, some the answer is no. So it really just depends on what you're hitting. But if you want to get specific with it, if what they claimed about Israel's nuclear capacity at the facility that we bombed, if what they claimed was true, then the answer to that would be yes. So they obviously lied about something. Sunbathing with our tortoise. Yes, Don is sunbathing right now. He ate a lot today. He's enjoying the nice weather. Fifth Elemento. 0.36 liters in Tel Aviv, which converts to 65 cents a gallon. Must be nice. Oh, they're paying 65 cents a gallon in Israel for gas. Stop it. Don't. Oh my gosh. Well, of course they are. This is what this is what you live for. This is what your blood and treasure is for. This is why you work 50 hours a week and make children for. It's so that Israel can have cheap gas. It's in the Bible. Shirley Maldo, Trump hosts The Biggest Loser next to Zusi Wally. Zusi Whale? I'm not with you on that. Monty139, turn up mic volume. Anybody having a problem with mic volume today? I've not heard any complaints about that. Maybe turn up your volume. I don't know. I'm not seeing any issues with the mic today. Appreciate your concern. Ad must have seen a horrible future ahead. I didn't leave MAGA. Trump did. MAGA is all of us. Well, you could put it that way, recycling bin. Some people are still brainwashed. Moon. Non-MAGA, you can still want what's best for our country without Trump's permission or ideological flip-flopping. Well, there's a novel thought. Don't tell the brainwashed that. Don't tell the cult members that. Their minds will explode. Frankie Rios, Israel hit the Temple Mount on purpose. Yeah, a lot of holy sites are getting hit. Israel is shutting down holy sites. This thing is just going bad, man. This thing is just going real bad. Bunch of psychos. Iron Lunatic. I think they're planning on using this war to depopulate the young fighting men they're doing in Ukraine. The next superpower is Benji decides to plop himself, leaving the U.S. in dumps. Do you mean Beijing? I don't know what you mean by that. You're talking about Netanyahu? He's like 80. But yeah, I think mass depopulation is always on their mind. So you can kill a couple million people in a war. They love that. STL Missouri, B-ball and barbecue. I'm in, says Love Knots. Love Knots, okay. Well, we'll keep you posted if it goes down like that. It would be a good spot, central in the country. It'd be all right. I don't know. Would people rather go to St. Louis or Austin, though? Maybe we should have the party in the FEMA camps. Well, we might be forced to do that, so let's just calm down. Dark despair. Female Kurdish soldiers have existed since at least the Obama era. The U.S. has pledged support if the Kurds rise up, but then when they do, they get annihilated and the U.S. is gone. The female soldiers are pure desperation. Well, there's no doubt about that. What is with the ridiculous idea that making America great is a dead idea? Want what's best for us, no matter the puppets who hold office. Shapiro's eyebrows. Who cares if Trump is impeached a third time? The Senate needs 2/3 to convict, so it'll just waste time and taxpayer money. Nothing will come of it. Well, nothing may come of it in the way of Trump actually getting convicted, but it will have political complications, and it will cause issues for the second half of his administration, no doubt. Bingo. This is all about depopulation. Voted Trump first time 2024, no new wars and MAGA, but the Jeffrey Epstein files, pro-glyphosate executive order, and Iran war drop him to a D, not F, since he closed the border. Trump and Netanyahu, all world leaders hold zero power. Nukes aren't real. Japan was carpet bombed. Nukes aren't real. There's one. I never get into that. I don't know. Whatever. They have big bombs. They can blow a lot of stuff up. They can do a lot of damage, whether you think it's nuclear or whatever, hydrogen. I'll leave that one to the experts. Review Tech Zimbabwe. Expect interest rates to skyrocket once this new round of inflation hits from the war. My fiance and I are getting married and getting a house this year, too. Keep us in your prayers. Best of luck. You know, there's nothing you can do about timing. I talk a lot. I don't talk a lot about this on air. I used to talk a lot about this with some friends of mine, older friends of mine. You know, you can't plan your life on the unknown. I forget how he said it. I forget how he stated it to me. I'm going to try my best to paraphrase it. But essentially, you can't plan your life around the things that you can't control. And you have to make decisions about your own life. You have to make the best decisions you can for yourself. And the things you can't control, there's just nothing you can do. Interest rates higher or lower, there's just nothing you can do. You got to make the best decision for yourself. But you never give up. You never give up. Was 1776 fake? It all appears to be fake. Israel's been anointed the new superpower. Elections, winners, and empires seem to happen at round tables. Hey. Easy. Triple chocolate butts. Take your shirt off. A compelling offer. You think that this whole magnificent display is only worth $13.73? It's disrespectful, I mean, throw a couple zeros at the back of it if you're going to make the request. I mean, come on, bro. What are we doing here? It's unbelievable. It's disrespectful, man. I'm not even mad at the request. I understand the request. I get the request. You think this is worth $13? What's wrong with you, man? Are you blind? Come on, man. I'm now on the seditious sick side. Hold the ship. Troy Deep Thinker. Could be worse, Owen. Imagine corporate America right now and trying to keep your cool. Glad you're doing your own thing. I found you through Alex, but you passed him up a long time ago. Best play-by-play in the game, man. Thank you. Thank you, Troy. Glad to have you here every day. It's my honor. It's my honor. Bring back Sleepy Joe. They ran Kamala. I mean, what a joke. Oh, man, Sleepy Joe. Breaking faux news. Trump says Iran is finished. Yeah, that's why we're sending boots on the ground. Somebody's got to take over the government. The people don't want to. How is this one going to go? I really wonder. Man, if they actually do this, folks, it could be bad. If they actually do this and it goes bad and Trump comes out and says, oh, we had no idea, honestly, like the Republicans need to impeach him at that point. Now, they will never do it, but it's just like that would be outrageous. Iran has made multiple public statements saying we are prepared for a ground invasion. And then if you do that and bad things happen, like that's all on you. This whole thing is on him anyway, but he's letting Bolsonaro and Peters pass in prison. Yeah, Tina Peters too. It's just, what a shame. Just Trump abandons the people that support him the most. Trump abandons the people that fight for him the hardest. He's just such a sellout, man. Amen, Owen. He's the total orange turd. Igor Tigor. He didn't even put up a picture of Kirk or statue. No, more pictures of himself, more statues of himself. And they did put one banner of Charlie up. I think it was at the Department of Education. They had it up for like 2 days, and then they took it down. I don't want to see that. I don't need to see that. I don't want to see it. Put it me. I want me. I want to see me. Danny Norton Kim. Will Israeli soldiers also put boots in the ground? And why is no one putting together a protest? So there was, they said, this is, Israel, their soldiers don't do boots in the ground. What the IDF does, this is what they did in Palestine too. What the IDF does is they just bomb everything. They just bomb everything. They don't ever put their soldiers' lives at risk. Now, granted, members of the IDF have died. There have been casualties in the IDF. But no, what the IDF does is they just carpet bomb everything. They just kill everybody, destroy everything. And then the mop-up ground crew goes in afterwards. And so that's basically what they're doing in Lebanon. But everybody's kind of realizing that that's what they do. So they came out and they said, oh, Israel's going boots on the ground. Stop it. They just annihilated everything in southern Lebanon. They're going in to do mop-up duty. They already demolished southern Lebanon. They're just going in to bully and intimidate who's ever left and push them out on top of the rubble. There's no real fighting. So if there's going to be a ground invasion in Iran that might actually require fighting, no, the IDF will not be there. Rip Ashley Babbitt, rest in paradise. The Real Family Guy, thank you for bringing common sense and logic to the airwaves. Your logic is top-notch and played in my house daily. Love from Brad in China. China. That's a good one, Brad. Thank you for that, Brad. It's my pleasure to be with you every day. Appreciate you. I Willstum. Shout out for the farmers and ranchers suffering in the wildfires here in Nebraska. Over 70,000 acres burned since the beginning of March. What a sad story. Not getting any attention. It's the largest wildfire in the history of the state of Nebraska. Zero attention. I mean, I covered it once this week, but no attention anywhere else. None. So to our friends in Nebraska, God bless. God bless. And I hope you're not relying on Trump for any help because he won't give a damn. Trump hasn't said anything about that, by the way. Trump has not said a damn thing about the Nebraska wildfires. This guy's a traitor. My MAGA hat was never delivered. No refund either. Are you thinking lawsuit? Are you thinking lawsuit, babe? I'm not a Trump supporter, but the island was a place where they were testing a chemical that makes it very easy to be coerced by fake polls or gaslighting. He was testing on kids in Dalton and Trump, New York. Are you talking about from the Epstein files? We found out they did that trumpet plant serum. And yeah, that's basically what my interpretation of the movie Blink Twice is about. Basically the plot there. Owen, Jesus, please pray for me. Do not lead the people astray. A-Rod Blends. This show sounds awesome in the truck. Keep it up. Trucking around. That's expensive these days. Got to be careful. They're picking up MAC IP addresses at graveyards. Yeah, I saw that. That was a big phenomenon after the vaccine rollout. It's a chemical. It could be in the vaccine or testosterone shots could even poison wells. What? You had me with the vaccine. I don't know where you went with the other one. No way Trump got the real vaccine. He got a saline placebo, as did Biden and all the elites. I would guess the same thing, but who knows with Trump, man? You know, who knows? I'd like to think he was with us at some point in time and they got him, but who knows? After all the Epstein stuff, it doesn't look good. I'll tell you that. Jet Shanghai. Babies born from jabbed mothers are developing super rapidly. They're like 18 months and look 3 to 4. They climb around too. Are they Nephilim? I've not heard about this. The only thing I heard about that was mothers that got the vaccine were having a hard time getting pregnant and perhaps even maybe some infertility issues with men. I haven't heard anything like that. But I did wonder after we saw some of the stuff in the Epstein files, like have they been rigging vaccines for a long time? Have they been rigging injections for a long time? Do they already have stuff that they know gets a certain result in humans and every once in a while they use it? Or is it at random? Is it like a Compound V thing from the boys on Amazon? But I haven't heard that one. W Show. Nice to switch it up now and then. Do you think the ground invasion starts this weekend or next? From Owen Jones Schroyer. It looks like it's starting tomorrow or tonight. It looks like it'll be another midnight breaking news story. They do it in the middle of the day. I don't know. It looks like it's inevitable now, and it looks like it's the only option they have at this point. So I think it's inevitable. I don't know if it'll be this weekend or next, as you ask. I'm thinking it looks like this weekend, though. I think Trump is vaccine damaged. This explains it. Maybe. Back to this for a second, though. I don't know if they're ready to do it this weekend. That's the only hesitation, is that they might not be ready to do it yet. If they are ready to do it, if they have everything in place, they will do it this weekend. The only reason they won't do it this weekend is they just haven't had the time to prepare for it yet. But I think it's inevitable. 1 of 1K. This show was very therapeutic, Owen. Thanks for doing it, and appreciate the spectrum of callers for being in-depth and consistent, besides the Yorkie. Don't give a mod too hard of a time. Thank you. Pen very well. I like the call-ins. Do it more often. I like the call-ins because it takes all. I mean, I get like an off day essentially when I'm taking calls for an hour and a half. I'm not working. I'm just taking calls. So I could say I like it, but I don't. I'm addicted to the news. I'm addicted to reading the news. I'm addicted to being the guy out there that gets you more informed than anyone else on the airwaves. That's my desire. If there's 3 hours, if you can spend 3 hours with anyone else out there, and your goal is to get as much information as accurate as possible, I want to be that guy. But people like the calls. I knew it had to be done, so we did it today. Schroyer shirtless calendar when? Probably never, I would say, on that deal. F MAGA, Iran war, get out, most boomers vaccinated. Yeah, well, I think that might be true by the numbers. Palmetto Hawk, with all the heavy news, it was refreshing to see Afro Man restore a little faith back into the court system and civil liberties. Afro Man holding this country's morale together by a string. Who had Afro Man on that deal? What a legend. I didn't even cover that this week. If you know, you know. What a legend. He made a joke he was going to run for president. I don't know if he was joking or not, I guess. I'm assuming it's a joke. Would you vote for Afro Man? Hell, at this point. Sushi date for supper tonight. I doubt that. Red light, meat, and pizza. The volume request from earlier super chat was from the phone calls. Your volume decreased when speaking. Got you. Thank you for that clarification. Anyone hear about 2 cabinet members so far requesting fallout shelters from a company that specializes on them? It's more than 2. Most of Trump's cabinet is now living on a military base, and multiple members from Trump's cabinet are building nuclear fallout shelters. Yes, we covered that last week. Carooster, love all your coverage and clear-minded view of topics. You're a real one. God bless you and the audience. Thank you. Appreciate that. Have a great weekend. Only Chuck Norris can save us, and he's gone. Oh, Sam, why you got to do it like that? Wait, so are we still baby making or not since the world is ending and whatnot? Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Do we need to start repopulating? Do we need to open the doors here, guys? Not on the desk. IGF. I'm trying not to get bombed this week. Can you guys just give me a break? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Thank you, Shapiro's Eyebrows. Give us a follow on X at Owen Schroyer 1776. Give us a follow on Rumble, rumble.com/Owen. And don't forget YouTube, the Owen Report on YouTube. Help us grow, guys. Help us grow. Barron Trump turned 20 today. Send him to Iran. Yeah, happy birthday, Barron. I saw that. Good for young Barron. What is he, like 7'10"? So, all right. There you go. One more here. Thank God my mom had me unvaxxed since birth, and our daughter is also pureblood. We have our pineal gland intact. Loved the calls today. Great show. Thank you. Thank you. Helicopter press conference. Oh, yeah. I see. I see what you did there. Very good. Jordan Walker squeezing one into the buzzer like a Jordan would. Thanks for taking my call, Owen. Sources tell me you still have your foreskin. Is that true? My source is the Owen wifey. Can we get some Saturday content? Doubting the Saturday content, but you never know. If something breaks, you never know. You guys are wild out there. Can I just say? Wild. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the week. The tortoise is doing great. The turtle, I think, is doing okay. The turtle popped up a couple times, but it's, I guess, still brumating. I don't know. But they're both good. Thank you for asking. I'll let them know you asked. That does it, guys. I demand you have a great weekend. Whatever that means to you, have a great weekend. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to all the phone calls. Owen Report returns Monday. God bless. Godspeed.